Radio check, radio check. Welcome everyone to the Chinese Grand Prix watchalong. And we've got a seriously good story heading into the race because this is not just another normal pole position. Kimi Antonelli starts on pole for the 2026 Chinese Grand Prix with 1:32.064 time. And in doing that, he became the youngest Grand Prix pole sitter in Formula One history. And with quite a margin. He has beaten the previous record of Sebastian Vettel. So this is a massive moment, not just for Antonelli, not just for Mercedes, but maybe even for the whole shape of the season. Even though yesterday when he got the pole, I think that he wasn't overly excited. Maybe there's something that is happening behind the curtains that we don't know, that he maybe is aware that he's supporting Russell as he is the more experienced driver, but I believe he really wants this win, and I think he's gonna give it everything. Let's see in chat, how are you guys doing? We saw, I got an image from Grash with a red flag. He was on track yesterday, and let me see if I can show this quickly. All right. This is the red flag. Finally, physically being causing red flags. Yeah, maybe we'll have to count this to the red flag counter. All right, let's go into the data. First I will go through some charts, through some data, and until then Evan is gonna be preparing, so he's gonna join us for commentary. So until he's ready, I'll be here to show you some charts and some data, and if you have any questions, any doubts, any predictions, please drop them in chat and we'll go through it. Nomad 77, let's try to avoid that, shall we? You mean for the red flag? Well, I don't know, how many of you guys have picked a red flag incident in your F1 bingo cards? I think I might have that in my F1 bingo. So let's take a look at the top 3 fastest laps and see what they can tell us. If you look at the telemetry now on screen, you can see really that Mercedes are not just fast, they are properly in control of all the sectors right now. So Antonelli is on pole, Russell is alongside him on the front row, Ferrari are right behind with Hamilton and Leclerc in row 2. So immediately the pressure is going to be on. Antonelli has the headline, but Russell has the experience. And with that starts, Ferrari are really, I expect them to just have that explosive start and just go around the Mercedes in the beginning, and then we will see if they can defend. Because Antonelli has had really terrible starts in the sprint and then in Australia. So I really hope he can get a good start, because we have never really seen him with a proper start and fighting with Russell and the Ferraris. He always goes back a couple places and then tries to get back to P2. So if he manages to have a good start, I think that's gonna be also trouble for Russell, because now he won't. We don't know what will be the team orders, if they are allowed to fight. But of course, Antonelli, I think he needs to get a good start here and not lose couple positions on the start and try to fight for the victory. Now, if we break down the lap times, let me see. Antonelli did 1:32.064. That is almost 1.5 seconds slower than 2025 quali laps. Russell was behind with just 0.222. Then Hamilton 0.351. Leclerc very close to Hamilton 0.364. But yeah, it's gonna be tight. I mean, of course, Russell had that issue yesterday in Q3, so he had some troubles with the car, was stopped on track, but then managed to get it moving. And at the end, I think they changed some things. They changed the wheel, the steering wheel, and in the end, he was able to put a lap, but it was not good enough to get him to P1. So by looking at the fastest laps and in the telemetry of the laps, so we see that Russell was actually fastest in sector 1. He did 24 seconds 012 there. Then Antonelli took the sector 2 with 27.664 and sector 3 with 43.87. So this wasn't one of those laps where someone hooks up in one corner and steals pole position by surprise. So Antonelli really built this lap in the second half. He was strongest when the lap started flowing and when commitment mattered, when tire confidence mattered, and when the final sector really had to be perfect. So of course we can see in the straights the advantage of Mercedes over Hamilton. They are way faster in the straights. I think from Australia maybe Hamilton is closing this a little bit. By the way, we see cars on track, but these are just recon laps. Maybe we should actually be watching these because, yeah, you know, well, actually Piastri crashed on the formation lap, I think, in Australia, or was it the recon lap? I don't know if any one of you remember. Anan says, a suggestion for you guys, please add an element which shows the current time of the place where race is happening, like for China right now. Okay, yeah, we'll take that into consideration. We weren't adding that because, you know, there are people from all around the world watching here, and yeah, the time zones are just different. Okay, here you can say it one recon lap because people were wondering if they would have time to fix it. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely add the time. I mean, the screen is already quite packed, but I think we can do that. So let's see now the lap dominance. By the way, this is data from F1 telemetry data. Great source of data analysis. So check them out on social media. What we're gonna look at? The lap dominance. Let's see. So as expected, yeah, the straights are dominated by Mercedes, and in this case especially by Antonelli. Ferrari is still stronger in the corners. You can see the red color on the track, and then the white color is Russell. So Russell was not fastest on the straights, but he was fastest around the end, 14, 15 on the hairpin, and then in the twisty section around turn 10, well, 8, 9, and then 10 already is Hamilton is fastest. So it will be interesting to see how the first laps go. I mean, we saw really exciting and interesting 6 or 7 laps in the sprint race where Hamilton and Russell were changing positions very often. Leclerc was lurking behind. That was really good sprint race. I mean, I really liked it. I think probably one of the most exciting sprint races that we had. I don't remember Yeah, I might be wrong, but I don't remember such a sprint race, because usually in sprint race, like drivers in the past were not trying to risk too much, because it doesn't give too much points, and they wanna keep the car together for the main race. But now we saw some pushing. I mean, yeah, after the lap 7, Russell got away. Then we got uh, the safety car bringing the pack together. So yeah, it was I'm hoping for a similar thing to start on the race today, because that was really interesting to see. Let's take a quick look now at the throttle usage. I think this is important, interesting data uh, for Red Bull, because you can see from the data, like when it comes to braking, Red Verstappen is braking so much more than the other top teams. Then look at the lift. Similar. I mean, the most that the other top teams are lifting is Russell, 5.44% of the lap, and then Verstappen is double that. So if you look in the data for Hajarto, we're gonna see similar thing. Even look at the partial throttle. Everyone has like more of that, Verstappen less. And then also the full throttle, it is so much less for Verstappen. So I think that he's still not that confident in the car. Obviously, they need to brake more often, to lift more often, to because they are losing control, and the car is maybe understeering, oversteering. So yeah, Red Bull has a lot of work to do, because as it stands, I mean, they didn't look like this in Australia, so I don't know what really happened. Maybe this track just doesn't suit them. But in China, they look more like leading off the midfield rather than joining the top 4 teams. Now, Verstappen still has a better position, starting position than in Australia, so we will see if they can fight the McLarens. In Australia, Verstappen couldn't pass Norris. Now they also have Gasly to take care of, because that Alpine was really strong. Even Colapinto almost got into Q3, like he was 0.05, I believe, away from getting into Q3. Let's take a look at the top speeds. I think that's really interesting chart, especially when we see Alpine, what Alpine has been doing. So this is more like for the straight line picture. And here Colapinto was fastest, 343 kilometers per hour. Second is his teammate Gasly, 340. Then we have Sainz, 338. So these are kind of the top 3 that stand out the most. All of the 3 drivers have Mercedes engine. But if you look at the Mercedes team, they are quite in the middle with 333 and 332 kilometers per hour top speed. So Alpine is really fast, but they have to work some things out, because we saw, well, the sprint race was a bit messy with the pit stops, and yeah, maybe that really messed them up. But they have really quick car on the straights. They seem to struggle in the corners. If they can handle that, I think they might compete for being the top of the midfield. They might even fight it with Red Bull. I still think in the race probably Red Bull will be ahead of them, but this looks promising that there's a lot of space for improvement for them. 660 people watching, 125 likes. Thank you everyone for liking, and for those who haven't already, click that like button, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out. And yeah, it's gonna help us bring more people here. Yeah, going further to the chart, of course, Aston Martin and is really struggling. Their top speed is 324. Alonso 320. That's really slow. Hopefully, I mean, they did the sprint race until the end, so at least if they have fixed the reliability issues, maybe we'll see them go through the whole race and not just mess with our F1 bingo cards. So it looks better in terms of reliability, I would say, for Aston Martin. But even this, like that, Bottas was quicker than Stroll in qualifying. So Bottas in the Cadillac will actually start in P19 and Stroll P20. Albon is starting from the pit. Was that against something? Let me see. Because I think he started from the pit in the sprint. They changed something and then... Yeah, there's some adjustments on the starting grid. Yeah, Albon will start from the pit lane, and this is for the second time because he also did that for the sprint race. I mean, he is not like losing many positions ahead of him. He was starting, I think, P18. So now ahead of him is Perez, Stroll, Bottas, Alonso. All, I would say, slower cars. So I think he will quickly get back to the position that he was on the starting grid after quali ended. So for my F1 bingo card, I have this 10 pointer that someone from Williams, Aston, or Cadillac will score a point today. I know this is a long shot, but this is 6 drivers. We might have retirements, we might have DNFs, we might have DNS. And if something crazy happens towards the end, some red flag, I think I'm mostly betting on Williams, maybe Sainz scoring a point. Yeah, we don't know still what are the tires they're gonna use, so maybe some crazy tire strategy and some safety cars towards the end can give them a point. But I thought that was a good car to pick because it's 6 drivers and who knows what's gonna happen. Probably they are gonna be experimenting with some different strategies. They will have fresh soft tires towards the end, and yeah, that might be a factor. Hello from Belgium. Hello Reno. Hey from India. Where are you guys watching us from? Hi from Saigon. Hi from Hanoi. Hi Andy. Andy says, I saw that 10-point item and didn't choose it. Now I feel bad for betting against my bro Carlos. Yeah, it is still a long shot, but we will see. Hello from Mozambique. Will Ferrari use their flip-flopping in the race? No, they brought it here. They used it in FP1, but I don't think they're gonna use it. It seems like they still have some work to do there. Hamilton was saying the plan was to bring it is 4-5, but they brought it too early. Okay, I'm hearing that Mirex Evan is ready. So I'm gonna pass the mic to him, and yeah, he's gonna be doing the commentary.
everybody. Welcome. I am your commentator for today's Chinese Grand Prix in 2026. My name is Evan. You probably recognize me from yesterday if you were with us. Pleasure to have you all here. Brilliant intro from John Racing Statistics himself. Yeah, what a Grand Prix we could have coming up for us now. And the big news that has just broken, Lando Norris will be starting from the pit lane. He has had a power unit issue when they tried to start up the car, and they have now had to remove his seat to try to fix it. And because of the fact he did not do the laps to the grid, they are not able, well, they're not allowed to start on the grid. So they are going to have to start from the pit lane, which is a massive hit to Lando Norris and a massive advantage to other drivers. That means Pierre Gasly will shuffle up, or he'll still start from P7 on the grid, but he will be a net P6. So Gasly will be automatically in 6th. Verstappen will move up to 7th. Hadjar 8th. Behrman 9th, and Hulkenberg will be starting in the points in 10th, but from the 11th grid slot. But that is a massive hit to McLaren. Two drivers having terribly compromised Grand Prix for 2 weekends in a row. Of course, Oscar crashing on the laps to the grid in Australia, which genuinely broke my heart. And now Lando having battery issues before he's even made it out of the garage. Hopefully, he will be able to start the Grand Prix. I've not seen anything that's indicating to me so far that he'll be a DNS, but that will be a situation that we are monitoring greatly. And yes, as I'm saying, some people say massive opportunity for Oscar to try to gain an advantage on his teammate, because he's already on the back foot from the fact that he didn't participate in the Australian Grand Prix. He scored no points as Lando was out there scoring 10. And he's now managed to score another 3 points from the sprint. However, he's now 12 points behind Norris, which is a bit reminiscent of last year. But alas, this could be a very strong opportunity for Oscar to make that up. Of course, starting P5, he'll be scoring 10 points. If he finishes where he's starting, if Andrea Kimi Antonelli continues as he has been, he could be up to P4 by the end of the opening lap, trusting everything goes well for him. Which I'm sure everyone hopes it does. We are currently 20 minutes out from the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. Let's get excited, everybody. I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm hoping for some good battling on the opening laps, as we had in every single race start so far. And the cars do seem to be quite genuinely getting closer and closer. As much as, of course, George didn't set a competitive time yesterday in qualifying, we still, Aaron Hamilton were 3 or 4 tenths off Antonelli, which that's competitive. From what we've seen from the Ferrari race pace wise, it should be able to hang on to those Mercedes and fight them for this race lead, which is exciting. Just a question, when will the race start be? The race start will be in 20 minutes time. I repeat, 20 minutes. Get excited. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be great. This will leave Racing Bulls for sure if they're only competing for P5 and P6. I don't know. Personally, what I would imagine we'll see from Max Verstappen is that he will do is he'll either, as long as they're fighting for like P5 and P6 and he might get a couple of podiums, I could see him being willing to finish out his contract with Red Bull and then deciding to retire. On the other hand, we could see a scenario where I can see a scenario where if they're struggling to score points, where Max just leaves either end of this year or end of next year and goes and does the things that he wants to do. He said that he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to be competing in Le Mans when he's 40. He wants to do it whilst he's still got speed whilst he's still in his prime. So he's going to want to at as soon as possible. And if Red Bull aren't providing him the car that he needs to be quick, I don't think he will hesitate. We're just seeing Max Verstappen's car as I'm speaking about him. They're doing some work on the back of the car. It's also being blocked by those working around as these Sky Sports cameramen are trying to poke their cameras in there, sticking their hands up, trying to stop them. So I trust that's not going to be an issue. I trust that's a temporary thing, which they can fix relatively easily on the grid. But I'm a bit concerned by the wall of people because that could suggest something that could be a little bit more serious. So hopefully Max Verstappen will be fine to start because he's already made up one position just by starting because he will be starting ahead of Lando Norris, who, if you have not noticed, will be starting from the pit lane. As you can see on the stream, we have a graphic popping up, possible strategies. So we've got 4 strategies primarily. We've got 2 one-stoppers and 2 two-stoppers. And really, it just depends. Like, it'll kind of depend on what you think's going to happen. If you think there's going to be an early safety car, starting on the soft seems like a pretty good idea. If you think, or safety car or virtual safety car, pitting under that to get off the soft tires could be a decent idea. We saw how long the soft tires and the medium tires could hold up yesterday. The mediums, as long as you're not fighting too hard, were able to make it to the end of the sprint race. So they can do that 19, 18 laps. I think it was 18 laps, sorry. They can do that 18 laps, whereas the soft tires, I know Isaac Hadja was running the soft tires, they fell off pretty quickly. So anyone starting on the soft tire will probably be betting on an early safety car or virtual safety car, which, dare I say, with the reliability of these cars and the amount of racing that we get in these cars, I could see 2 drivers having a bit of a knock in some early laps, which could cause a well-timed safety car or virtual safety car for someone. So that could be a viable strategy. I also heard the stoppers are estimated to be 5 seconds slower than the one stoppers. That does mean if you go for a 2-stopper with a safety car pit stop, you will gain by roughly 5 seconds because it's estimated that you. Oh, hang on! I'm just seeing reports that Bortoletto's car is being pulled into the pit lane. Sorry, I'm not seeing this on my live pictures. I'm getting these reports. Yes, I'm seeing now my timings that Bortoletto is back into the pit lane. That is terrible news. Of course, I don't know if this is a starting from the pit lane or if this is they can't get the car up and it'll be 2 DNS in a row, which would be terrible, terrible news for the Audi Formula One team, who seem to have pace. They're not super far off. They are definitive midfield teams, and with a couple of reliability upgrades, could find themselves fighting for 5th in the championship. I think it's definitely possible. I could see them having a go at it with Audi. Or sorry, I could see Audi having a go at it with Gasly and Alpine and so on and so forth. I could see that happening. Yes, Norris had PU issues when they started up the car, so he will be starting from the pit lane. But Albon was a confirmed starting from the pit lane before the starting of proceedings, and Bortoletto has just been wheeled into the pit lane. I do not know if he will be starting the Grand Prix or not. So far, we have no reason to believe he won't be starting the Grand Prix, but it's still a bit touch and go for him. I'm just looking. Yes, he is. So they're currently doing the national anthem for those curious, and Bortoletto is stood there getting ready for it. So I would be inclined to believe that they are doing that. He will be starting the Grand Prix because, for example, Oscar Piastri, because he wasn't starting the Grand Prix, he wasn't there for the national anthem, and I don't believe Nico Hulkenberg was either. So that means we have 3 pit lane starters: Lando Norris, Gabriel Bortoletto, and Alexander Albon, who will be starting in the pit lane in that order. Now, as I was saying with the strategies, it'll basically be betting on if you think you'll be able to fight through the field. Of course, if you're a Ferrari, you don't want to go for anything too extreme. I hope Ferrari are listening because, as it proved in Australia, it didn't work. They I think we could have seen fighting till nearly lap 30 if they had actually just pitted under the virtual safety car. I think we could have seen fighting for a hell of a longer than we did, and hopefully we will get to see that today. And I'm gonna put an apology out there now. My internet's not doing the best. Comes with being a Tasmanian, that the internet doesn't hold itself up too well. So here's hoping I can stay connected enough where we don't have any major issues. PUs are a big letdown at the moment. Yes, yes, 100%. One thing I've been wondering about, which I haven't seen many people, I've seen people talking about it with Hajar, but I haven't seen loads of people talking about it because Hajar, I don't remember what the component is, but there's a component of his car that he's on the second version of that, and they have three for the whole season. He's already on his second. So this could be a really big deal after, say, the halfway mark of the season. Hell, maybe even before. We could see drivers getting very consistent penalties. Because, I mean, yeah, each year you'll often see a couple of drivers, pardon me, with a couple of penalties. Uh, but I wouldn't be surprised if the second after what? Sorry, no, not race 13 anymore. It'll be race 11. Uh, no, that's not how much. But race 12 will be the race one after the halfway mark. With, of course, if you haven't heard, the cancellation of Bahrain and Saudi Arabia due to the current travel ban across the Middle East. Which, simply put, it means that they can't get the stuff in. So dare I say, no one is particularly surprised about that one. I feel like could have predicted that one from a mile away. But I could see after the halfway point in the season, I could see teams having to having, or I could see at least one driver every every race starting at the back of the grid because of the fact they've taken an engine penalty of some sort, which is going to be really hard for development because of the fact that the that goes into the development budget, which means that for each engine penalty a team gets, that's even more development that they can't do because they do not want to exceed the budget cap because that's massive penalties. Taking a quick drink. But yes, as we are on my end at least 10 minutes out from the start of the Grand Prix. The hard thing is when my internet lags, the streams lag too. So I'm doing my best to keep up to date with what's happening stream wise, but life isn't the easiest. Did Hadjar destroy his entire engine in Australia? I don't know the specifics of it. I just know there is an aspect of it that has, it might be the battery. Don't quote me on that, but it might be the battery that if it's replaced, that can only be replaced, that can only have three versions of it across the season, and he's on his second already. Hydraulics issues for Bortoletto. Thank you for the confirmation. So that is concerning. That I would imagine he should still be able to start this Grand Prix, but he could see himself in a bit of a pickle, to put it really, really kindly. As we are 9 minutes out now from race start. Just saw someone ask about what my predictions are. I would love to see Kimi Antonelli get his first Grand Prix win, and I would love to commentate that. I would be over the moon. I don't think anyone would complain if Kimi Antonelli would win this Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton, I mean, he's my bet for who's leading into the first corner. Charles Leclerc could follow him in second, or they could be side by side through the first corner, which would be amazing. George Russell, of course, he didn't get a good lap in. I reckon he could have nearly been 5 tenths up on Kimi's time, knowing that he didn't have any battery to start the lap. Gabby's car is being pulled apart. Okay, so I'm no longer confident that Gabriel Bortoletto is starting the Chinese Grand Prix, which is a massive shame. Of course, his teammate will now be defaulted up into the points because of the fact that Lando Norris will be starting from the pit lane due to a PU issue. Just saying a poll has popped up now. Who will win the Grand Prix? We've got Antonelli, Russell, Hamilton, and Leclerc as your options. Once again, I feel like I shouldn't be judged for predicting that my GOAT Oscar Piastri is going to win. No, I kid. Oscar's, as much as I would love to see him win this Grand Prix, and that would be the win of a century, seeing that how the distance that McLaren has to the Ferrari and to the Mercedes. I did see Oscar having an interview saying that he thinks race pace wise they could be closer to the Ferraris, but then I've also seen the Ferraris saying that they think they're closer to Mercedes. I only voted George because of no Oscar option, valid option. No, I shouldn't be too biased. I'm gonna get cancelled. They're never gonna let me on ever again to do commentary, and I hope you all hope that doesn't happen. I hope Russell gets a jump and takes it home. I honestly, I just want good racing at this stage. The boy I cheer for will be lucky to get a podium this year, seeing how dominant the Mercedes and the Ferrari are. So I would be happy to see Kimi, George, Charles, and Lewis just go at it. I hope everyone else wants that. It would be a bit boring if George were to just win everything. Of course, George Russell from it was Australia FP3 through to through to the sprint race, topped every single session until, of course, Antonelli topped the sprint qualifying session. However, overall, Mercedes as a whole are still on a streak of topping every single session since FP3 in Australia, which is slightly scary. And of course, we're not including Q1s and Q2s in there. I don't remember off the top of my head if they have topped every session. They'd be pretty close to it. What's going to be Lawson's excuse? Aussie bias, yes. British, not so much. Yeah, okay. A tiny bit of Aussie bias, maybe, possibly. I will always argue that Oscar's better than Lando, in my humble opinion. They're very close, but I would say Oscar has a slight edge. So we'll address this when people burn me for it. Williams are mum confirmed cool. I would so your mum thinks Williams is cool? Is that what I'm reading from that message? I'm not quite sure. Anyways, we are 5 minutes out from the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. This is going to be hopefully a pretty good race. We've seen yesterday that they can go racing here, so hopefully it's entertaining. Who do you think the DNF guys are? Aston Martin, probably a Cadillac. So Aston Martin and both Aston Martin, a Cadillac, and probably one more. Piastri off the grid. No, Norris is the one not on the grid. Piastri's not in the pits. Lando Norris is in the pits. The visuals may be saying otherwise, but I promise you, Lando Norris is taking the pit lane start. Oscar Piastri is lined up on the grid. I saw his car on the grid. Do not forget to like and subscribe. As always, if you are enjoying the stream, do like and please subscribe. You'll be notified of all of the streams we do here. Oscar in the pits. I'm assuming that is something having a moment. I'm very confident that Oscar is not starting from the pit lane. I'm looking at the live telemetry data. It is showing. Oh no, that's just updated. Why are both McLaren starting in the pit? No. Why? Why is Oscar in the pits? Okay. This is breaking news. I don't totally know what's going on with Oscar right now, but he is currently in the pits, it says on the timing. So they're currently doing the F1 intro, so I can't see the live pictures, but I will get back to you as soon as they show us. So currently Gasly is net P5. The only thing I'm concerned about with Oscar is is the issue something they can repair in like the 3 minutes that they have? Norris, Piastri, Bortoleto, and Albon. Of course, Piastri will be starting ahead of Norris because qualifying. This shuffles Colapinto into the points. Gasly will move to 5th, Verstappen 6th, Hadjar 8th, Behrman 9th. No, Gasly 5th, Verstappen 6th, Hadjar 7th, Behrman 8th, Hulkenberg 9th, and Colapinto 10th. Oscar didn't want to start with that as bestie. It would unfortunately appear so. Also getting some tyre data now. Antonelli, Russell, hang on, no, let's go through the starting order, shall we? Maybe it'll update. No, it hasn't. Okay, so we got Alex Albon, Gabriel Bortoleto, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri so far starting in the pit lane. Then Sergio Perez will be lining up in the 21st grid slot. Then Lance Stroll and Valtteri Bottas, P20 and P19. Then Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz, P18, P17. Then Arvid Lindblad will be starting alone in P15 with Bortoleto starting from the pits. Liam Lawson will be starting P14 and Esteban Ocon P13. Franco Colapinto P12. Nico Hulkenberg P11. Very close to making it into Q3, both of them. Behrman P10. Hadjar P9. Another strong showing from the Haas driver. Then Max Verstappen P8 and Gasly P7. Really the best of the rest. Now, both McLarens were going to be lining up on the third row, but currently they are both sat in the pit lane. So I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Charles Leclerc will be lining up P4 behind Lewis Hamilton. Hopefully one of them will lead into the first corner as George Russell starts P2 and Kimi Antonelli P1. Compounds-wise, the top 5 were all set to start on the medium compound tyres. Then Norris is starting on hards. Is seeing Norris's car still sat in the garage. Gasly on mediums, Verstappen and Hadjar both on softs. Just having a look there at Piastri's car. Looks like it should be ready to go, so it should just be a simple pit lane start for both McLaren drivers, which is a tragedy for Piastri, trying to get some points on the board and starting all the way down the order. Behrman's on the mediums, then Hulkenberg, Colapinto, Ocon on the hards. Then Lawson mediums, Lindblad and Bortoleto on hards, Sainz on mediums, Alonso on hards, Bottas on softs, Stroll on hards, Perez on mediums, and Alex Albon on hards. We are about to start any second now. So here's hoping that with an empty rower on the grid, we can still get some good racing. Just making sure that everything's live, that everything's remotely up to date for me. I'm not looking at the stream. I'm not looking at the YouTube stream because of the fact that it is lagging horrendously for me. But here's hoping it all works out. So, yes, Colapinto and up will default into the points due to both McLarens starting from the pit lane. As we see everyone running away from the cars, they will be getting going. McLaren 5-6. No, McLaren pit lane. Because I don't even know why. I don't know what the issue is with Oscar's car. It did the recon laps fine. Norris, we know that was a PU issue of some sort. As the clock ticks over and we are ready with the formation lap. I do hope I'm remotely synced with what you're all seeing. I do apologize if I'm not. Yes, I'm seeing chat saying formation lap has started. That would at least lead me to think I'm remotely close. As then my stream with the pictures immediately lagged. So that's just grand. Absolutely grand. Can I please stay up to date? Yes. Okay, there we go. Watching the formation lap get underway. Everyone seems to be looking good for the minute. My McLaren starting from the pit lane. McLaren, Lando, we know he had a PU issue before he even left the garage, so he hasn't so far. However, Piastri, he did the reconnaissance laps this time. He made it further than he did in Australia, and they found some issue whilst he was sat on the grid, and they've had to pull him into the pit lane. Wait, Lewis got disqualified from the sprint? Lewis Hamilton has not been disqualified from the sprint race. I'm not quite sure where you're seeing that from. If someone else could get some confirmation. I'm not seeing that. I haven't seen that information anywhere. McLaren in the pits, yes. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Alex Albon will be starting in the pit lane, which is rather unfortunate. Oh, saying that Lewis got disqualified from China last year. Okay, yeah. So both Ferraris got disqualified from China last year. They will be hoping not to repeat that this year. Very exciting race for Pierre. Oscar is not on the formation lap. Oscar's not on the he's still sat in the car, but he's not on the formation lap. Of course, those who start in the pit lane are expected to do the formation lap. That could be really, really concerning. Oscar may not be starting this race. I'm getting all of the information I can to you as quickly as I can, but yeah, that's concerning. What do I think of the current regulations? They're providing some half decent racing, so I won't complain so far. Okay. This is okay. I'm just waiting to race started yet? Not yet. I'm just keeping an eye on everything. Bortoleto is out of the car. Gabriel Bortoleto is not starting this Grand Prix. That is already a DNS. I do not know about Oscar Piastri. He was sat in the car last I saw. Lando Norris hasn't gone out for the formation lap either. Are either McLaren starting this Grand Prix? Kimi Antonelli is about to line up into his grid slot. McLaren's may not be starting. Albon will be starting from the pit lane, but neither McLarens have done the formation lap. I'm just looking, just trying to spot in the pit. Oh, Gasly's massively overshot his grid slot. He's half a car length in front of his grid slot. He's reversing back to try to get into it. Oh, that's a massive mistake from Gasly. He's managed to move far enough back, but that was a massive mistake. He was half the car length over the line. Okay, well, I have no idea what's going on with the McLarens. Alex Albon's out of the car. Albon's not starting this Grand Prix. I don't think any of the pit lane starters are starting the Grand Prix, as I'm getting the green flag at the back of the field. I have no idea what's going on, but we're going to do our best to commentate this race start. The pre-start has begun as the red lights. We see the first, we see the second, third, fourth, fifth lights on. And we are racing for the Chinese Grand Prix. A brilliant start for the Ferraris from what I can tell. Kimi's got a good start though. Mercedes to the inside. Lewis Hamilton around the outside of Kimi Antonelli. He's already taken the lead. Leclerc's fighting Kimi Antonelli for P2. Can Kimi hold on to it? Yes, he can. Lewis Hamilton leads the Chinese Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc still fighting. I can see Haas has had a brilliant start. Ollie Behrman is fighting for P5 currently. He's fighting with Pierre Gasly for P5. We've got a yellow flag on track. I don't know what's caused that. I'm having a look down the order. I can't see anything. That's tight between Haas and Max Verstappen as one of the Racing Bulls has run wide. Both of them run wide as we are currently Lewis Hamilton leading Charles Leclerc, then George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, then Charles Leclerc, then George Russell. Trying to keep track of everything. Hang on, that's Isaac Hadjar who's fighting with Behrman. Verstappen's had a terrible start again. Verstappen's down the order once again. A terrible start for Max Verstappen. I can see him just ahead of the Cadillacs as Ollie Behrman pulls out for a move. On Isaac Hadjar. He misses the corner. He cuts the corner. He's going to have to give that position back as Isaac Hadjar then slides up the inside to take P5 back. Isaac spun! Ollie's off! Ollie's off to avoid it, but Isaac Hadjar has spun around. The Red Bulls have had a terrible start. Ollie Behrman's lost out massively because of that. Pierre Gasly's comfortably P5 as Franco Colapinto has moved his way up into P6. It is an Alpine P5, P6 as Lindblad is trying to make a move, but he's run wide. And Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso is in P9. Lawson, Lindblad, they're all scrapping around in the midfield. Franco Colapinto leads, Lawson leads, Lindblad, Ocon, Alonso in the top 10. Hadjar's told to box. I'm not sure what's happened there, but he will be coming into the pit lane. That is a horrendous start as we confirm that Piastri, Norris, Bortoleto, and Albon will not be starting as we see a Williams and an Aston Martin going wheel to wheel, I believe. Williams, Carlos Sainz is up to P10. That is an incredible start for him. As we see Kimi Antonelli still hanging close, 0.2 seconds off Lewis Hamilton. What a start. I'm barely keeping track of all of it. Isaac Hadjar has entered the pit lane, and he has, I believe he will be headed back out. Max Verstappen is P12 on his soft compound tyres currently. What an absolutely chaotic start. Hulkenberg's had a bad start. He's down to P15. Looking across the rest of the field, Behrman's down to 13th after that issue with Isaac. Verstappen's now made his way past Alonso for P11, fighting his way up the field. As we see a very... Oh, I'm lagging again. This is terrible. I'm going to miss the overtake. I can't ask for anything worse. As we see Hamilton leading Antonelli, leading Leclerc, leading Russell. They're all within 1.4 seconds of each other. Antonelli pulls out for the move on Hamilton. He takes the lead. Andrea Kimi Antonelli leads the Chinese Grand Prix. Will Lewis Hamilton come back at him? No, he won't. Lewis Hamilton continues to potter around. As we see Oscar Piastri tragically getting out of the car after not starting for another Grand Prix, leaving McLaren in a jeopardy for this Constructors' Championship. As we come across the line for lap 3, Kimi Antonelli. Oh, and George Russell's making a move on Charles Leclerc up the inside into turn 1, and he's done it. Charles Leclerc has dropped to P4 as George Russell moves up to P3. Verstappen has now made his way up into the points. He's P10. Ocon's made his way past Lindblad for P8. Lindblad seems to be struggling a little bit out there with less on-track experience, of course. With George Russell currently holding the fastest lap of the race. Perez and Bottas have been noted for a collision in turn 3. The two Cadillac teammates. That is terrible news for them. They're currently running P14 and P17. We get confirmation that George Russell has fastest lap of the race, a 1:38.07. We're seeing the battery here. Antonelli has a little bit more than Hamilton. 0.9 seconds is now the gap to the leader as my screens go black, so I can't tell you what's happening. As I'm lagging horrendously. Good Lord. Can I please see what's happening? Yes, I can. I'm back. Antonelli, 0.8 seconds ahead. Oh, as we are pushing once. It could go either way, or Hamilton's dropping back substantially. Russell's closing in on Hamilton. Not quite seeing the swapping and that we saw yesterday, but they're all currently very close to each other. Leclerc closes up massively through the hairpin on George Russell. Russell could be massively impaired if he's not careful soon. Hulkenberg fights his way past Fernando Alonso for P13. Looking off the back of Lewis Hamilton. George Russell's moving to the inside. He's got leagues more battery than Mercedes, makes it a 1-2. Antonelli leads Russell, leads Hamilton, leads Leclerc. Then Gasly and Colapinto are P5 and P6 currently. Lawson P7, Ocon P8, Lindblad P9, and Verstappen P10. There's a lot to take from that race start. That was rather chaotic. No idea what was happening in the pit lane there with the McLarens. Bortoletto and Albon. Albon was set to start from the pit lane. He should have been fine. But now we have 3 Mercedes-powered cars not starting this Grand Prix. A bit nerve-wracking for Antonelli and Russell in the lead, as we confirm Antonelli has also now taken the fastest lap of the race from George Russell. Look at the big movers. Lawson's up 7 places. Lindblad's up 6. Hadjar's dropped 9 places. That's terrible for him. Looking up the field, Colapinto's up 6 places. Ocon's up 5 places. The midfielders, they had some brilliant starts, as Behrman has also dropped 2 places. Once again, struggling with the race start. We see down the back straight. No one looked like they're quite close enough for a move. We're all line and stone for the minute. Andrea Kimi Antonelli leads George Russell by 1 second. So, Antonelli's a slight lock-up. Hamilton won't wait for him. He will go for the move, as we know. Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, will wait around for no man, no matter how old you are. Lewis Hamilton very close to the rear of Antonelli, but it looks like Antonelli's got a bit more battery as he pulls up the gap a bit more. Looking a bit further down the field, Verstappen's close to the rear of Lindblad. He'll be hoping to get the move down the main straight. Will Lindblad fight him? He fought him hard in Australia. Lindblad close to the fan. Verstappen around the outside. He gets the move done rather comfortably, as it seems the Ferraris are struggling. Oh, Verstappen's run wide of the first corner. Lindblad gets back up the inside of him. Verstappen drops back to P10. Currently struggling to sit in the points, which is terrible news for him. Having a look at the race start again. I'm going to try to get a look at those Cadillacs. They've got a warning Verstappen just gets so bogged down. I feel terrible for Behrman. He had a rocketing start, but it just hasn't worked out for him. Just trying to spot the Cadillacs through the first corner. What's happened there? Oh, we can't quite see it. The cameras. Oh, yes, there we go. Just saw that there. A slight contact. I wouldn't be surprised if that is a penalty coming towards at least one of them. We are currently in the order we started this Grand Prix. However, George Russell, who could find himself fighting for the championship with his teammate, is going to want to try to do something about that. He's going to try to get past him as soon as possible, I would imagine. The Norris fanboys probably crying, if I were to guess. So let's not talk to them too much. Don't make it worse in their day. As we see a replay of Max Verstappen's onboard again, a horrendous start. He's fuming. You can see him shaking his head around. He knows that he should have gotten a better start there. Could have been fighting far further up the order. Getting on board with Perez. Ooh, Perez there smacking into the side of Valtteri Bottas. Turned Perez around. I would be inclined to say that was a racing incident. As we're now seeing Hadjar spinning around a Behrman having to take massive avoiding action. Brilliant reaction time from Behrman there to avoid an incident. As Behrman ran off the road and through turn 12 and then had to recover as Hadjar there makes his way past him, but then spins and completely blocks Behrman's way. So he had no option except to run off the road. So now getting a replay of Verstappen's little runoff, where Lindblad then snuck his way back up the inside as the Williams behind him of Carlos Sainz was close to him as well. As we go back to live pictures, Antonelli leads Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Gasly, Colapinto, Ocon, who's made his way past Lawson, then Lindblad and Max Verstappen in P10 at the bottom of the points. Max Verstappen starting on the soft compound tyres, the only driver currently out there on the softs. Hadjar started on the softs, however, he pitted after spinning on the opening lap. He's currently sat in dead last. He will be struggling out there to fight his way back up the order. Gasly has quite a comfortable gap to his teammate. He is 4.1 seconds up the road. Then really the next closest gap fight is Max Verstappen on the rear of Arvid Lindblad, then Behrman behind him. Behrman, of course, qualifying relatively close to Max Verstappen. He could find himself on pace racing him. Verstappen very close down the main straight this time as Bottas makes his way past Alonso. Verstappen looking down the main straight. Will he go for the move? He sits behind him for the minute through turn 1, but that doesn't mean he couldn't go for it through turn 2 and turn 3. Their batteries are very similar charge-wise. Lindblad recharging a little bit more to try to defend. Of course, Lindblad wanted to score 2 points here in P9, and Verstappen wanting to try to claim any points so far, as he's actually in a fight for P7 with Ollie Behrman in this championship. So if he's not careful, he could find himself really compromised. Well, he's in a fight for P7, and as long as the McLarens can actually start a Grand Prix so far. Currently, Oscar Piastri starting his DNS so far this season, excluding, of course, his sprint results. So they'll be wanting to solve that out as soon as possible. As Verstappen recharging a little bit more through the middle sector. Leclerc's also gained on Hamilton a bit. Also seeing Verstappen's front left tire massively graining. He's going to want to get off those as soon as possible. I'm crying for Oscar. I think we're all crying for Oscar a little bit. We all just want to see him start a Grand Prix. And now we're going to have to wait till Suzuka as we see Nico Hulkenberg's on the rear. Carlos Sainz, we had a brilliant start up to P12 as Hulkenberg pulls out and comfortably gets the move done. You see Ollie Behrman's not far off the rear of Max Verstappen. He's going to have to be careful not to make any mistakes. Hulkenberg gets the move done. Carlos Sainz going back at him a bit down that straight. Of course, the Mercedes having the Mercedes power unit having the best straight line speed of any car out there. Verstappen again close to Lindblad, approaching the first corner. Not close enough though. Behrman's pressuring him from behind, so he's going to have to make sure not to over deploy or overcharge in certain parts. Antonelli continues to lead by 1.5 seconds with George Russell, who has the fastest lap of the race so far. Verstappen reasonably reporting his tyres are dead. There's a massive black band across that tyre. He would like to get off that as soon as possible. Race over. I wouldn't bet on it just yet. Hamilton trying to go longer. We will see. We'll see what he's going for. Leclerc still 0.9 seconds off him, and Hamilton 2.5 seconds off Russell. What happened to Albon? He did not start the Grand Prix. He was set to start in the pit lane, but did not happen. Rather unfortunately for him. As we're looking at the Red Bull pit wall, it doesn't look like they're looking to make any jumps to get Verstappen off those tyres that he's hating currently. The pit window for Verstappen is sometime around lap 15 is the earliest he would want to pit. As we're seeing Lindblad's close to the back of Lawson. Lawson dive to the inside to defend. Lindblad pulls out. Lawson doesn't try to defend too hard. Oh, and Lindblad locks up. Behrman's close to the rear of Verstappen, and Lawson sneaks back up the inside of Lindblad, showing some brilliant braking control there. Oh, as Lindblad's very close to the rear of him through the final corner. That could have been tears if he decided to go for that move. So looking as they come down the main straight again. They stay line and stern for the minute, but I wouldn't bet on that being the case for too long. The hard compound tires do seem to manage quite well. Why is there no live feed of the race? There is a live feed of the race. What do you think I'm commentating from? Not quite sure what you're asking about there. Radio from Lawson complaining about the move from Lindblad. Saying that it's just going to lose some time. So I'd assume Lawson is requesting that they hold line and stern, but if they do that, dare I say that Verstappen will pounce without hesitating. Having a look. Yes, as Oscar Piastri, just getting some views of him out of his racing suit, which of course is tragedy for Piastri. As we come back to the on-track racing, thank you, PV Production, for showing us that. Oh, as Russell's closed up a bit on Antonelli now. Antonelli's going to have to keep his eyes in his mirrors, as we've got not a DRS train, but we've got a train forming. Behrman's close to the rear of Verstappen, and Lindblad's close to the rear of Lawson. Lindblad pulls out, Behrman pulls out. Can they both get the move done? Lindblad up the inside, Behrman up the inside. Can Behrman do it on Verstappen? Verstappen's coming back at him. They're still side by side through turn 16. Lawson's being told to box on lap 10. That's terribly early. Verstappen's boxing too. He's following him in. Behrman did manage to get the move done. That shuffles Behrman up to P9 and Hulkenberg into P10 on the hard compound tyres. As again, Sainz is also pitting. This, I would imagine, these drivers will have to do 2 stops. There's no way they will make it to the end of the race. Getting an onboard from Leclerc. Currently looking at pit stop times. Verstappen 3.4, Lawson 2.5, and Sainz 3.1. That'll comfortably get Lawson out ahead of Verstappen, which was very crucial for them. As we see Hadjar in the background, still a comfortable distance. Oh, yellow flag. That's an Aston Martin off the road. Lance Stroll's. As he pulled over, I think he's pulled over. That could be terrible timing for the Red Bulls. If that's a virtual safety car, that could really jeopardize those who've just pitted. Lance Stroll off the exit of turn 2, from what it seems. Looking across the field. Safety car. That's massive. That's just completely screwed over Verstappen, Sainz, Lawson, and Hadjar. Stroll. Oh, is he going? No, he's definitely stopped. Okay, so Russell's boxing. Russell will be in. Antonelli, will they leave Antonelli out there? I'd have to imagine they'll bring him in too. Antonelli's in. George Russell is in. Come on, Ferrari. Don't mess it up again. Bring them in. Bring them in. Bring the boys in. You can't do this again. Don't do this to us. Yes, Hamilton's in. Lewis Hamilton pitting under the safety car. Leclerc's in. I'd have to imagine Gasly will probably come in too if he wants to try to gain any advantage. Yes, Gasly's in. Will those on the hard tyres pit? That's the question. It's far too early for them, of course, the Ferrari's double stack. Hamilton's stop was at 2.4. That's not too bad. And I'm looking. Has anyone shuffled around? Colapinto hasn't pitted. Colapinto is up into a net P2 currently on the hard compound tyres. Ocon P3. Russell P4, Hamilton P5, Lindblad P6, not pitting, Leclerc P7, Hulkenberg P8, Gasly P9 after pitting, and Behrman has also pitted. Having a look across the field, Bottas is pitting. Is Perez pitting? No. Okay, so Antonelli will lead the field. Those who've pitted so far: Antonelli, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Gasly, Behrman, Bottas, Lawson, Verstappen, Sainz, and Hadjar. However, Lawson, Verstappen, Sainz, of course, have now lost out massively as they pitted just before. Hadjar's pitting again. That's 2 pit stops already for Hadjar. So we see Franco Colapinto is about to complete his first laps in top 3 positions. Brilliant race for Franco Colapinto so far. I forget if I predicted Colapinto would score points or not. I think that was last weekend. So rather unfortunately, it does not appear that I'll get 10 points for that in our Discord server bingo competition, which if you are not in, I would recommend you join. Just having a look across those who pitted, I don't think any positions were gained or lost in particular. Those who started on the hard compound tires, not necessarily not working out for them, has pit for a new set of hard compound tires. Oh, and the front left has a terrible time trying to get off that axle, which is rather unfortunate. So yeah, Alpine currently P2, P9. Whoever said this race is over, you are kidding yourself. So yes, hopefully we can get some good racing. I mean, I would imagine. Okay, Colapinto won't hold on to a podium. Like, I'm not going to act like it's Ocon P3. I'd bet on him holding on to that podium before Colapinto does. But then again, we saw battery on restarts is massive. So on safety car restarts from yesterday, Colapinto's in your fantasy league. You want to know who's in my fantasy league? Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, Gabriel Bortoleto, Isaac Hadjar, and Nico Hulkenberg. So currently P8, P17, and last on the road, DNS, DNS, DNS. I'm really thrilled. I want to die. This is terrible. This is actually horrendous for my fantasy league. Yeah. So I'm really sorry for everyone who had them. Oh, Perez has now pitted. I don't know why he waited a lap. Bit odd, but he's now in the pit. I must say it's good to see that they gave fair treatment to both Antonelli and Russell. Back in the day, I could have seen Mercedes only pitting Hamilton and then waiting a whole lap before pitting Bottas, as Perez does 5.5. Oh yes, it's good to see that equal treatment there. Give Antonelli an equal chance to win this race. 500 likes. Thank you so much, guys. If you are enjoying this stream, do leave a like and subscribe. You'll be notified of everything we do here. I say it's very well timed for. Please, Russell, crash. Okay, let's not wish crashes on people. That's a bit unnecessary. Last I saw, Stroll's car was on the crane and being moved. I would imagine they should have that moved soon. FIA rules makes F1 boring. I'm not quite sure what rule that's referring to, but things are pretty good right now. Please change the engine regs. Yes, and please. Yes, Stroll's car is now behind the walls. I would imagine we'll get lap 13 behind the safety car, and then it'll be safety car in a lap in at the end of lap 13. I think it's a bit too late to call safety car at the end of this lap. George Russell saying on the radio, saying he thinks the one stop is going to be challenging. I would tend to agree, George. I would imagine everyone is going to have to do a 2-stop. We might see, say, a Colapinto or an Ocon gamble and go on a 1-stop. See if they can't make up some positions from it. I could see them doing that. Basically, if anyone does a 1-stop, I imagine it'll be a midfielder or maybe one of the Ferraris trying to see if they can beat a Mercedes because of that. Which, of course, Ferrari's goal is just beat a Mercedes. Their closest rivals, other than Mercedes, were McLaren, and, fun fact, double DNS for McLaren. I'm beside myself as an Oscar fan, and as an Audi fan. Like, this is as bad as Australia. Because I'm an Audi fan and an Oscar fan, and Now we've had two DNSs, or Oscar's DNS both races, and an Audi's DNS both races. Just seeing a replay here of Antonelli's pit stop. Impressively, Russell did not have to slow down at all. A very clean two-stop for him. Safety car in this lap. Safety car will be in at the end of this lap, as I predicted. So, yes, unfortunately, the double stack for Ferrari wasn't quite as clean. However, Charles Leclerc was clear enough of Pierre Gasly where they did not have to worry about him losing positions in comparison. Why is Lance Stroll allowed to race in Formula One? Because he has a super license. It's somewhat as simple as that. Now then, Andrea Kimi Antonelli will lead the field to green flag racing for, I think, the first time in his career. Yes, the first time in his career. Franco Colapinto running the highest he's ever run in his career. Ocon back onto a podium currently in the Haas. What can he do? They'll both have George Russell behind them, who's got the fastest lap of the race and is looking to win this championship. So he's going to be moving pretty quickly. Lewis Hamilton's, of course, pitted. Then Lindblad P6 hasn't pitted. Leclerc has in 7th. Hulkenberg hasn't in 8th. Gasly has in 9th. And Behrman has in 10th, I'm fairly certain. So as virtual safety car ending, we're going down the back straight. They're all swerving to try to get their tyres up to temperature. Can Kimi Antonelli work some magic? Can Franco Colapinto work some magic? If Antonelli has a bad restart, imagine that. Franco Colapinto leading a lap of a Grand Prix. That wasn't on my list of things I was expecting today. Or Colapinto very close to the rear of Antonelli. As Antonelli always, he's holding the field up a little bit longer. I think he's gone for it now. Yes, he has. Franco Colapinto was not quite expecting that. What will he look like? Oh, a bit of a snap. They're all getting a bit snappy. Ocon's very close to the rear of Franco Colapinto on that restart after a bit of a wiggle through the final corner. Colapinto's moving over to depend. Ocon, not quite. I'm looking further back down the field. Behrman's getting moves on Gasly. Lawson's past Alonso for 11th. Behrman up to 9th now. We're all clean and tidy through the first corner, which means Franco Colapinto in green flag racing is now genuinely in that position. Hamilton and Russell, or Hamilton's pulling out to try to get the move done. Ocon's looking for the move on Colapinto. Colapinto defends Ocon around the outside. Not quite for P2. George Russell locks up and Lewis Hamilton up the inside. Can he get the move done? Lewis Hamilton is up into P4. Colapinto again defending from Ocon as we're seeing more moves further down the field. Lindblad's holding on to P6 from Leclerc. As we're seeing, Hamilton's right on the rear of Ocon now. He's hunting for positions. He wants to try to close to Antonelli as quickly as he can. On those fresh hard tyres, Colapinto and Ocon will be struggling comparison on those used hard tyres. They've only done 14 laps, that's true, but still they'll be wanting... they'd rather some fresh tyres, as we see Colapinto's drooling away a little bit. Ocon's been a bit rough through turn 13. Can Hamilton get the move done? Ocon defends not massively. Hamilton has pulled out to try to get that move done. What can he do? Or is he close enough? Hamilton goes up the inside. He brakes later. That's a genuine move. Esteban Ocon drops to P4. As Franco Colapinto continues to hold on to P2, Antonelli swerving even more as Leclerc gets a move done on Lindblad for P6 further down the road. Ocon still close to the rear of Hamilton. Colapinto genuinely in P2 after that safety car restart. Will Hamilton sweep around the outside of him though? We're looking, will Hamilton go for it? Not quite. He's looking towards the inside of turn 2. He has a sniff. He doesn't go for it. Colapinto's had to use a little bit more battery than he'd probably like, all things considered. Leclerc's past Russell. Russell's had a horrendous restart. He's down to P6, which is a net P4 after pit stops. Colapinto still in P2. Hamilton sat behind him. Very admirable from Franco Colapinto. Looking further down the order, Hulkenberg P9. Behrman's made the move for P8. That's very respectable. Alonso's already dropped to P16. That's not good for him. Colapinto continues to try to defend for that position. No, doesn't matter though. Hamilton's gone up the inside. Russell's saying he's got no, I can't say that word, grip. So that's not good for him. I just want to bet because Russell swore on the radio. I'm happy about that one. Hulkenberg looking at Behrman for P9. He's close-ish. But could we be about to see Leclerc make a move on Ocon to try to make his way a bit further up the field? Colapinto still hanging on in P3. Very admirable from him. Things are calming down a little bit. Leclerc's close to the rear of Ocon. He's going to want to try to get that move done. As we look, Leclerc pulls out and comfortably gets the move done on Esteban Ocon. Leclerc moves up to 4th, Ocon up to 5th. Oh, as we're seeing a Haas. Who is that? That's Lindblad. Lindblad just forced Behrman way off the road. That's a bit too far from Lindblad. The rookie will be see a bit of a penalty for that. I'd consider that forcing another driver off track, as Lewis Hamilton is now close to the rear of Antonelli and Leclerc's close to the rear of Colapinto. How long will Leclerc be willing to sit behind Colapinto? He's looking for the move into turn 1 up the inside, or not quite. He climbs over the curves but doesn't get the move done. But out of turn 3, Colapinto's had a bad exit. Can Leclerc do it, or he forces Colapinto a bit right, but Leclerc takes P3. As Verstappen, who I nearly completely forgot about, is in P11. My apologies. As George Russell now gets the move done on Esteban Ocon to put him up into P5. Those on the hard compound tyres who stayed out are actually hanging on relatively well. I was expecting them to basically drop like flies, but they're actually hanging on fairly well. They'll want to try to keep that up as we go further into this race. As Antonelli sets up purple first sector, Hamilton has the fastest lap of the race now. As Leclerc's a bit adrift of them, 2.8 seconds adrift of the leader, and Antonelli sets purple sector 2. He's just gotten the giddy up, I would imagine, looking at those sectors. Hamilton's still managing to hang on. He's within a second. As I'm looking further down the field, Russell's close to the rear of Colapinto. Behrman's close to the rear of Lindblad. Behrman's probably a bit angry now. He pulls out to try to get the move done, and so does Russell on Colapinto. Colapinto doesn't fight that one too hard. He knows where his racing is, and it's with the man behind him. As we see, very tight in the midfield. Gasly and Hulkenberg going at it. Gasly gets the move done on Hulkenberg, and Behrman gets the move done on Lindblad. That's Behrman up to P7. It's a Haas P6, P7. However, of course, one of those has pitted, being Ollie Behrman on a fresh set of hards, as we see Verstappen now flying past Hulkenberg as Kimi Antonelli sets the fastest lap of the race. Hulkenberg has now dropped to P11, which is rather unfortunate for him, of course, looking to score his first points of the season. As Behrman is now closing on his teammate, and Colapinto still managing to hang out the front of Esteban Ocon. Lewis Hamilton really taking it to the rookie Kimi Antonelli, keeping him honest. As you see Lindblad locking up. Gasly's close to the rear of him. Could have gone for that move into turn 6 if he was a bit braver on those brakes, but probably best that he didn't. He can try to get the move done down the back straight, or possibly even earlier if he's feeling a bit cocky. Looking further down the field, Russell really struggling for pace on these hard compound tyres. Lewis Hamilton really close to the rear of Antonelli. He's going to want to try to get this move done. Snatch the lead back that he snatched on the leading on the first lap, but then lost rather quickly. Hamilton once again within a second down the back straight. That's going to give him that overtake mode. He's closing only marginally. It's nothing crazy. I'm looking further down. Russell and Leclerc are close to each other. Ocon and Colapinto are close to each other. I'm seeing Gasly pulling out for the move on Lindblad. He gets the move done. Lindblad likely told to calm down a little bit. He was causing a couple of incidents. That's not what the Racing Bulls team needed from him. As Alonso and Perez are going at it further down the field. Alonso hanging on to P16 as Verstappen is close to the rear of Lindblad now. Oh, yellow flag. The flag, was that Alonso and Perez? I know they were fighting very hard. As Verstappen dives up the inside, Russell sets the fastest lap of the race. Now he's got his tyres into the working window clearly. And I'm looking, what's the yellow flag for? I don't, Alonso and Perez are still scrapping out on track. I don't know what this is for. I'm not seeing anything. Everyone seems to be moving. I'm not sure what this yellow flag warning is for. Well, it's gone, so I trust it's nothing major. A 10-lap deficit to most of these tyres is what we're seeing here. Compared to those who haven't pitted. Hamilton coming over the radio, he says he needs more power. Ferrari have said they're working on it, try to give him more power so he can try to get past Antonelli. Ocon's very close to the rear of Franco Colapinto. Colapinto running in a commendable P5 currently, was P2 at the restart and hung on to that for a respectable amount of laps. That Mercedes power unit working wonders in the rear of that car, as Ocon is now looking to Try to steal that position away. I can see them going side by side, but the damn cameras aren't showing it for me. Pierre Gasly up the in. Oh no, Franco Colapinto up the inside as Behrman and Gasly are fighting away hard. Haas v Alpine all across the field. But Colapinto wins up the front and Behrman wins at the back. We are still Colapinto, Ocon, Behrman, Gasly, P5, P6, P7, P8. Behrman, Ocon's closing on Colapinto. Sorry, Colapinto defends. Ocon, does he even realize that's not Gasly with how hard he's pushing this man? Franco Colapinto defending. He could be vulnerable into turn 6. He hasn't been great through this part of the track. As we see Russell nearly within a second of Leclerc. Or Ocon could go for the dive bomb if he's confident. He's not. He doesn't quite go for it. He swaps back out to the outside as Verstappen goes for the move on Gasly for P8. But Gasly's sticking with him. He's not letting it go easily. Verstappen and Gasly incident moving on to braking noted. Ocon's insanely close to the rear of Colapinto. That's compromised Ocon massively. Behrman's now close to the rear of him. Gasly's managed to get back on Verstappen. Alpine, Haas, and Red Bull are unironically fighting for fourth fastest out there. Of course, we know the McLarens would be faster if they were out there, but they've both not started due to issues. Hulkenberg's close to the rear. Lindblad fighting for P10. He'll be hoping to try to get that move done. Russell's now within a second of Leclerc. That'll be big for him as that midfield fight, or back at the front runners nearly fight. It continues to escalate. Ocon closing on Behrman closing on Ocon, sorry. Colapinto moves to defend. Gasly moves to defend from Verstappen. Oh my goodness! Colapinto's practically brake-checked Behrman. That's given Ocon the position back, and Verstappen and Gasly are fighting like there's no tomorrow further down the field. Ocon, I would imagine, has been told to give that position to Behrman so that Behrman can try to fight up the field and get a net P5 on the road for Ollie Behrman. Oh, but Ocon's coming back at him. Oh, fighting Gasly. This is so close. How have they not hit each other? This is insane stuff. Verstappen's joining in. Gasly and Verstappen wheel to wheel through turn 2. Verstappen forces his way through in true Max Verstappen style. But can Gasly come back at him to turn 6? That's a genuine option. Further down, Hulkenberg's made a move back up into the points to try to score his first points of the season. Are we seeing a move? Russell is close to the rear of Leclerc. This could be a move for the podium positions. As we're looking out the front, they're not showing me the damn time, so I can't tell you how close Hamilton is to Antonelli, but it's a gap where they can see each other. The top 4 can all see each other on the road. Russell is close to Leclerc. I reckon he could probably get a move done. He's now going on board with Behrman in the windowed shot to see that Behrman is closing on Colapinto again. Behrman will be trying to get this move done. What's Russell's advantage compared to Leclerc? It doesn't look like he's going for it. They're all line and stern so far. All Russell has a little glance to see if he can get the move done. What about that midfield fight? Are we going to see any of that? Behrman's closing on Colapinto. Colapinto defends Behrman around the outside. Oh, he goes for the switch back. Does he get it done? They're side by side out of the exit. Colapinto will have the inside line. Colapinto's fighting like there's no tomorrow. What a drive from someone who hasn't scored a point since Austin in 2024. Behrman and Verstappen. Verstappen and Ocon are going at it. Ocon comes back at him. Those two have got some beef from way back when. Hadjar gets a move done on Sainz. Oh, Russell's really close now. He's 3/10 off. Behrman's still stuck behind Colapinto. Sainz comes back on Hadjar. But yes, it is a 0.4 second gap separating Leclerc and Russell, and it's 1.5 seconds separating Antonelli and Hamilton. Those Ferraris and those Mercedes are practically equal on pace, ladies and gentlemen, as Verstappen has now gotten past Esteban Ocon for P7. Behrman's going to have to get a wriggle on past Franco Colapinto, or he's going to be compromised and overtaken by Max Verstappen, because that is currently their race for P5. Looking through the field, they're all relatively close up the front. This is really the stuff we want to see, where they can all see each other. Leclerc's under no further investigation for Lindblad and Behrman for forcing Behrman off track through turn 15. That's good news for Lindblad. It was marginal, that's for sure. Behrman up the inside of Colapinto. Russell has relatively no battery compared to Leclerc. Leclerc should be fine down the main straight. Russell's out of battery now across the line. So Leclerc should be okay into the first corner. They're deploying so much as Lawson now gets past Lindblad for P11. So looking at Verstappen. Verstappen's now closing Colapinto. Behrman in a through P5. 15.5 seconds off the leaders. As we're looking at George Russell once again hanging on to the rear of Leclerc, but Leclerc's hanging on to the rear of Hamilton, which is giving him an advantage. Verstappen lining up a move on Colapinto. Can he get it done as Hulkenberg's now gotten past Gasly? A replay of the shenanigans at the start there. Gasly Verstappen incident noted in turn 6 for moving under braking. Well, I think we're just getting a replay of that now. Verstappen cuts ahead of Gasly. It's very tight between the two of them. I mean, did they make contact? Gasly claiming it wasn't fair because of the fact that Verstappen forced him off the road. I would say otherwise because of the fact he didn't leave the track. Now we're watching George Russell again off the back of Charles Leclerc. Gasly and Hulkenberg, P9, P10, looking for moves further down the field. Nothing coming for the minute. Antonelli's pulling away from Lewis Hamilton, and Leclerc is closing in on Hamilton a little bit. He's now within a second, which will help him in his fight with George Russell. Looking through the field, any crazy fights going on so far? Or Gasly was close to the rear of Hulkenberg there. Having a look at some other positions. Verstappen has gotten past Colapinto now. I missed that. Apologies. Sorry, just having a drink. Leclerc is actually closer to Hamilton now than Russell is to Leclerc. So that's pretty crucial. Gasly Verstappen, no further investigation for moving under braking. That is good news. The question will be for me is where will drivers like Colapinto, or those who haven't pitted, Colapinto is the leader of those, leading Ocon. Gasly, once again, close to the rear of Hulkenberg. He'll be possibly trying to size up. Oh, Hulkenberg's had a terrible run. So Gasly has now snuck that move on Nico Hulkenberg for P9, putting Hulkenberg back down into P10, but Lawson is a distance back. We're seeing as Colapinto and Ocon also are very close to each other on track. As we're seeing Leclerc, he's going to have to look in his mirrors. George Russell's close to the rear of him, but he's close to the rear of his teammate. Oh, they're all very close for P2. Leclerc nearly into the rear of Hamilton. That was nip and tuck between the two of them. Ocon trying to line up a move on Colapinto, trying to lead those on the hard compound tire strategy. For those who didn't pit under the safety car, it'll be crucial for them to try to make up as much time as possible compared to those who haven't pitted, and also try to hold them up so that they can try to slice their way through the field in the closing part of this race, which should keep us pretty entertained. As we see a three-way fight, Hamilton, Leclerc, Russell for P2 on the road. How's it going to go? Are we going to see any moves into turn 6? Not quite. Behrman is opening a gap to Max Verstappen. Ollie Behrman may genuinely finish P5 here. As we're also seeing Esteban Ocon for P7 with Franco Colapinto, as I just mentioned. That is an important fight. Also, Hulkenberg hasn't pitted. That somewhat explains why Gasly snuck up the inside of him quite so easily. Hadjar fighting his way back up the order, trying to make sure he can score some points before the end of the day, because currently it's looking a bit miserable. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but I think I might have just seen a raindrop on George Russell's onboard camera. I haven't seen anything about any rain. If someone could go and check a weather map, as Charles Leclerc up the inside of Lewis Hamilton into turn 14. And he's got the move done. Hamilton, and Russell, they're all so close. They nearly to consider going 3 wide into the final corner. That's ridiculous. Who thought that was a good idea? Lewis Hamilton under massive pressure from George Russell now as I see Gasly going for the move on Esteban Ocon. Oh, Leclerc goes to the inside. Hamilton looking for the move around the outside. Ferrari v Ferrari. Wheel to wheel. Oh, Leclerc forces him a bit wider. That compromises him. George Russell could try to get the move done if they're now not careful. Antonelli eating this up now, nearly 4 seconds down the road from these battling pairs. Lewis Hamilton takes the inside. George Russell moves around to the outside. Can they get the move done? Lewis Hamilton defends. Oh, that's so close. Nearly wheel-to-wheel contact between Hamilton and Russell. As I see Ocon and Gasly still scrapping. Ocon hanging on to P8. Brilliant job from him. As we're looking through the field now. Not many other fights. Hamilton 0.5 seconds off his teammate. Russell 0.4 seconds off Hamilton. This is an insane scrap for P2. And could we possibly have some weather on the borders? That would be massive if we see the weather arrive. If there was, that would just add another element of this race. Russell is closer to the rear of Hamilton than Hamilton is to the rear of Leclerc, and the Mercedes is usually very strong down the back straight. So I would imagine we could see Russell closing again. I'd imagine they all probably need to recharge their batteries a little bit. That was insane. Oh, Hamilton's closed up to Leclerc massively there down that back straight. He hasn't gone for the move, but he's 0.4 seconds off. He could go for it any time now if he has a bit of battery in advantage compared to Charles Leclerc. What a three-way fight, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't think better. Russell is gaining really quickly on Hamilton. Will he go up the inside? Hamilton doesn't defend it. Russell not quite close enough. Oh, now Hamilton's really close to Leclerc through there. It just keeps ebbing and weaving every single time where they have battery and where they don't. And Hadjar further down the field's made a move for P12 on Arvid Lindblad. Having a look into turn 6, stays as it is. This is brilliant. I'm so glad that we're getting to watch these guys fight. On the weather that I was mentioning, it is very cloudy. I will also mention that. So rain isn't unreasonable. And if it's only light rain, that would almost be even more chaotic because it wouldn't make it worth it to pit for intermediate. That would be the dream here. And then we watch these low grip cars with grip even more. But goodness knows if we do have weather on the way. I'm looking. Or the gaps are about 0.7 between them. Russell doesn't look like Russell's had a bad exit out of turn 12. Hamilton's had a pretty good one. He's 0.6 off Leclerc now. Will he close that gap up? I'm looking down the main, down that back straight. Hamilton's closing. Hamilton is going for it. Up the inside of Charles Leclerc. Leclerc doesn't defend it. Hamilton gets P2 back. George Russell isn't far off them. He's only 0.7 off the rear of Leclerc, but Leclerc's only 0.3 off the rear of Hamilton. Will he get him back down the main straight? Can he do it, or will Hamilton defend well enough? He already moves to the inside. Leclerc moves to the outside. We've got a battle for P2 on our hands. Leclerc around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Takes P2, but Hamilton's going to try to come back at him. Oh, they're so close. Leclerc's squeezing him, but he's giving him racing space. Leclerc hangs on to the position. Charles Leclerc up to P2. Lewis Hamilton now back to P3. And our championship leader, George Russell, in P4. Oh, but Lewis Hamilton having a look into turn 6. Oh, he's late on the brakes. They're side by side. Can Hamilton get it down on the exit? No, he can't. But he's looking for it into the high-speed turn 7. That's somewhere you never go for a move. Lewis Hamilton is fighting for his life out there. Around the outside of turn 8 into turn 9. Lewis Hamilton up the inside of Charles Leclerc. This is insane. Leclerc's coming back at him. Do they even know they have a Mercedes on the rear of them? Charles Leclerc's made the move back. George Russell's getting in on this. Lewis Hamilton moves to defend into turn 11 and turn 12. Through turn 13, they weave. Kimi Antonelli is now 0.7 down the road. What is this? This is madness. They're fighting so hard. As they're now 0.3. Hamilton is off Leclerc, and Russell is now 0.4 off. Russell pulls out to get the move done on Hamilton. He does. Is Leclerc under pressure now? Will Russell get both of them? Not quite. Hamilton pulls out to the outside of Russell. He doesn't quite get the move done. Will Hamilton get him back? Oh my God, this is insane. I can't ask for anything better. This is insane racing, and they're fighting for P2. Russell's fighting for the lead of the championship. If he finishes fourth and Antonelli wins, Antonelli takes the lead of the championship to become the youngest championship leader ever. This is insane. Hamilton's now dropping a bit off Russell. I imagine he used a lot of battery there. It's all calmed down just a little bit. As we see Ocon still managing. Oh, yellow flag. No, that's Lindblad. Lindblad spun. I don't know who he was fighting. He was fighting Carlos Sainz, I think, into the hairpin. He's gotten going again. That has dropped Lindblad down to P14. Hamilton's now drop a second to Russell. Russell is on the way. Once again, with the possibility of rain in the air, who knows where this is going to go? As we see a replay of Lindblad, he's looking in his mirrors. Is this a driver error, possibly? He turns in. Yeah, I think that's just driver error on Arvid Lindblad. He spun it around in the hairpin. So we should be all right. As Hamilton's, dropped a bit off this pack. Russell's 7/10 off Leclerc. Could he get this move done and move back up to P2 and make it a Mercedes 1-2 once again? He's closing on Leclerc. He's closing really quickly. Will Leclerc go defend it? Yes, he will. George Russell around the outside. Not quite. Leclerc keeps it smart on the brakes. Russell moves to the inside, but Leclerc will have the inside for the next corner if that's the case. Russell's having a look into the final corner. He keeps it wise. He doesn't go for it. Charles Leclerc now 7.5 seconds down the road. Oh, sorry, Antonelli now 7.4 seconds down the road. Neither of them have battery across the line. That's close Lewis Hamilton up. As Ocon and Gasly fighting so hard in that first corner. Oh, Ocon and Colapinto. That's Ocon getting moved on Franco Colapinto. Gasly's with them, though. I want to see this fight. Why are we not getting... Gasly now gets the move done on Franco Colapinto. Colapinto's lost 2 positions in the span of, like, 2 corners. As Ocon's now dropped, as did he have no tyres. Russell saying that these Ferraris seem to be fast in all the right places. Ocon's dropped to 9th now. He's dropped behind Gasly, who's up to 7th, and Colapinto, who's up to 8th. Verstappen's still 1.9 seconds behind Behrman, who's driving clinically out there. So sorry, I need a drink. My voice is dying. As Antonelli now sets a purple sector 2. Good to see Antonelli still got pace in him. Looks like Kimi Antonelli is on for this race win as long as everything goes his way. But we have some dark clouds overhead. Who knows? Those top 4, 2nd to 4th, are all within a second of each other once again. Let's see. Does Russell go for it? Russell goes to the inside. Leclerc doesn't defend it. Oh, but they're still side by side. Russell takes P2 from Charles Leclerc. Leclerc's close to the rear of him. Did he just recharge a little bit, not to lose out too much, to try to get the move done down the main straight? I don't know, because they won't show us the damn batteries. But Leclerc is now 0.5 seconds off George Russell, and Hamilton's 0.9 seconds off him. He closes a little bit down the main straight. Is definitely keeping in touch with George Russell. He's not letting him run off. Oh, they're intensely close through turn 2 and turn 3. Hamilton's dropping a little bit, 0.1 seconds off. As we see Leclerc try to hang on as George Russell sets the fastest lap of the race, now 7.8 seconds. Ocon's dropping through the field. Oh, Ocon's pitting. That's why. Ocon pits on lap 30. I would imagine that will be an attempted 1 stop. Hulkenberg now up to 9th, and Lawson now up to 10th, with Hadjar now 11th. We'll have a look at that pit stop for Esteban Ocon. How does that look? Oh, it's slow. It's very slow. That's painfully slow. 5.7 for Esteban Ocon. That's very rough for a driver who's having a very strong race this weekend. As I look, and the top 2nd to 4th, again, all within a second of each other. But Russell is pulling out a little on Charles Leclerc. Leclerc's going to have to hope to get a good exit out of turn 13. Try to hang on within a second. Hamilton also got a strong exit out of there. As I'm looking, all Leclerc's closing on Russell, and he's checking his mirrors to make sure Hamilton's not jumping in, but they're not close enough for the move. This is brilliant racing, guys. Really, I know a lot of it's very artificial, but we just watched the Ferraris go wheel to wheel through the middle sector for nearly the whole lap. That's insane. That's crazy talk. So that's really exciting. Know that these cars can do this. Just to know they can do that. It's possible. I just want to showing the Tyre ages, Colapinto and Hulkenberg out there on 29 lap old hard compound tires. Ocon out there on the mediums. The Mercedes don't seem to be moving yet because, of course, it'll be time for pit stops for the front runners sooner rather than later. Leclerc's looking pretty close to Andrea Kimi Antonelli because I highly doubt any of these drivers are going to. How many laps left? We are on lap 31 of 56. You do the math. I might just get a weather report up. Just have a gander at the weather. I didn't check what the weather was going to be because I didn't think it was going to rain. Sunday, I'm not seeing any expectations of rain. I'm just seeing expectations of being cloudy. As Antonelli again sets a purple middle sector. Kimi is getting down the road, and as these three continue to fight each other, George Russell, Charles Leclerc, and Lewis Hamilton, it only becomes a bigger advantage. Speaking of advantages, Behrman is pulled at 6/10 on Max Verstappen now, as Ocon now works his way past Valtteri Bottas. The Ferrari pit wall don't seem to be moving too quickly. Antonelli takes the fastest lap of the race. That's massive for him, as all seems to be calming down just a little bit. As I say that, Hamilton begins to close on Leclerc, but Leclerc just dropping a bit to Russell now. Having a look at a slightly more in-depth weather forecast. I'm seeing some predicted rain here for Shanghai. 62% chance of rain. That is the report. So could we see rain before the end of this race? Maybe. For those curious, Antonelli, 8.1 seconds down the road. Leclerc, I can't see his gap to Russell, but it's building. Hamilton, only 6/10 behind, so that's not shabby from him. Oh, a bit of a snap there through the middle sector. That's going to lose him a bit of time now. 7/10, opening up to 8/10. Purple sector 2 for Antonelli again. Antonelli is flying. Is anyone going to tell him he's 8 seconds down the road so we can calm down a little bit? Alonso's pitting. Alonso has just entered the pit. Will that be for a tyre change or retire the car? Goodness knows. Oh, Stroll's out of the race, by the way. Oh, yeah. Of course he was. Plan C could come into play. Charles Leclerc saying Plan C. What does that mean? I'd love to know, but it's not the default strategy, which is exciting because it means strategy jeopardy, which I think everyone would be here for. Alonso, yes, back out. Okay, so as Kimi Antonelli again crosses the line to set the fastest lap of the race. But George Russell takes it though now, only 7.8 seconds. George Russell slowly beginning to reel in his teammate, trying to hold on to his lead of the championship. He won't lose it just yet, but so far Antonelli will gain on him, and that's not good for him. Charles Leclerc 1.1 seconds off George Russell. Not surprising considering Russell be charging out there. 135.977 was that lap. Colapinto, I believe Colapinto is in the pits. Yes, Franco Colapinto is now pitting. Let's see what we get from him and where he'll come out in relation to Esteban Ocon, because of course they were very close to each other on track. As Alonso is now the first lap car. Antonelli just ahead of him. Colapinto in the pit box, 2.6 seconds. That's a nifty pit stop for the Alpine team. And that could get him out in front of Esteban. Oh, it's very close. They're 0.3 seconds is what I'm seeing. Can he hold on to it? Colapinto and Ocon. Oh, yellow flag. Yellow flag. Don't tell me they've hit each other. They have hit each other. The Haas of Colapinto and... the Alpine of Colapinto and the Haas of Ocon have hit each other. They were fighting too hard. Ocon spun around. Colapinto seemed to have managed to hang on. I don't see any damage, but I would imagine there'd be some. Esteban Ocon has now dropped down to 16th. That's a tragedy for them, as now the Cadillac of Valtteri Bottas and Colapinto in the Alpine are fighting each other. Just watching now as Colapinto pulls out of the pit lane And he works his way around. Ocon closing through turn 1 with those warmed up tires. And oh, yikes, that's some damage for both cars. Ocon squeezed his nose up on the inside from the looks of that. I'll just get a replay there. Ocon's, put his nose up the inside there. Oh, okay, Ocon's had a massive snap of oversteer and he's slid wide and he's collided with Colapinto. That is 100% on Esteban Ocon. Colapinto, he squeezed him a fair bit, but he wasn't really alongside. So, yeah, that I would say that's on Ocon. And now he's got some pretty serious damage to the side of his car. Didn't quite see the damage on, yes, the collision's now been noted. Didn't see the damage on Colapinto's car, so hopefully he might be all right. As the gap out ahead is now 7.6 seconds, Leclerc 2.5 seconds now off Russell. Ocon's admitting that that was his fault. That's good on him. And Hamilton is 0.7 seconds off Charles Leclerc. Of course, Lewis Hamilton fighting. Oh, and Alonso's out of the car. Fernando Alonso retiring. That means we now have 6 cars out of the Grand Prix. Alonso and Stroll have retired. Piastri and Norris, Bortoleto and Albon did not start. As Hamilton, I would imagine, be trying to size up a move on Charles Leclerc to try to get back onto the podium for the first time since I'm fairly certain Las Vegas 2024. George Russell again sets the fastest lap of the race, 7.4 seconds off his teammate now. George Russell is determined to try to catch his teammate for that race win. Which I must say, I wouldn't mind watching that fight. I think it'd be rather entertaining. Mercedes v Mercedes. We got our Ferrari Mercedes fight earlier on. I've got my daily dosage of that. I'm happy. I was just saying Lawson is closing on the rear of Hulkenberg. So it'll be interesting to see if Lawson can fight his way past there. Lawson, I'm fairly certain, pitted for hard tyres. As Ocon now works his way past Perez to sing a radio from Hamilton. They're not telling me what it says, though. Splendid. Hopefully, it's not anything too serious. Walking through the field. Yeah, Lawson, Hulkenberg is really the only immediate battle in the points. Hamilton is distantly close to his teammate. Look, Hadjar's now closing in on this fight in the points. Oh, Leclerc's one massively wide. Leclerc's one wide. Hamilton's gone up the inside of him in the hairpin. As now they're going at it. Hamilton and Leclerc lead each other into turn 16 and go down the main straight. Leclerc will be trying to get past as soon as he can. 0.3 seconds separates them. Oh, Leclerc around the outside. He's going around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Can he get that podium position back? Leclerc runs wide. Oh, he looks up for a possible move up the inside. Hamilton defends well. That was well done from Lewis Hamilton, seizing the opportunity the moment it arrived. Lewis Hamilton running down the road, hoping that as further down the road, Lawson gets the move done on Hulkenberg for P8. As Hadjar's now close to the rear of them. Of course, Nico Hulkenberg has not pitted, as I believe he is now. Yes, Nico Hulkenberg into the pit lane for what will be his one and only stop at this Grand Prix, hoping can come out ahead of Colapinto and Ocon, especially after their contact, as Leclerc is now 0.6 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton back in the podium positions. The gap out in front between Antonelli and Russell is 7.4 seconds. As I say that, Antonelli sets a purple middle sector. So Antonelli is now fighting back. Colapinto still manages to come out ahead of Hulkenberg. Nico Hulkenberg still in the pit. Still in the pit. That's a bit concerning. Is he leaving the pit? As we see, Charles Leclerc's closing on Hamilton. Does he dive up the inside into the hairpin? No, he doesn't. Okay, yes, Nico Hulkenberg has, in fact, exited the pits. That was a bit slow. He's 4.8 seconds off Perez. That's not exactly what he'd want to be seeing. Leclerc's way out of battery now. He won't be able to get this move done down the main straight. I would imagine he'll have to recharge and go for it another day. Yes, it would appear those who started on the hards have been severely disadvantaged now, which is rather unfortunate for them. Goodness me, my voice. I've been talking so long. And as I say that, Esteban Ocon gets a 10-second time penalty for his collision with Franco Colapinto, which he did fess up to, which is good of him because, dare I say, the Esteban Ocon pass may not have. Having a look down the order. I mean, at this rate, looking at those who've pitted, there's a genuine possibility that those front runners won't have to pit again. So Antonelli, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc would probably be. I mean, they've nearly got a pit window to Behrman. Antonelli does and Russell does. Ferraris don't quite, but they'd be close to if they can stop scrapping for position for a second. They will have a comfortable enough gap to pit into. The only thing would be if they think they can get their way back. For the Mercedes, it would just be a matter of do they think they can get back past the Ferraris? And at that stage, I would imagine the Ferraris would choose to stay out. Because yes, they are behind the Mercedes on pace currently, but they're not leagues behind them. It's not like the pace that the Haas has. So it could be a lot worse. Because once again, we'd go down the main straight. We know the Ferraris do quite like a fight through turn 1 and turn 2. But this time on lap 38, they follow along line and stern. Looking, Sainz is in the point. Carlos Sainz is in P10 from P wherever he started. P like 17 or something. P16, P17. That's quite impressive for me. I think it was P17. And he's 7.9 seconds up the road from Lindblad. If you're going to hang on to that, that'll be quite the drive for Carlos Sainz. Definitely be a consideration for my driver of the day vote. However, dare I say, driver of the day probably goes to either Kimi Antonelli or Oliver Behrman. Max is a decent shout. Honestly, Antonelli, Behrman, Verstappen, Gasly, Lawson, and Sainz are all very good shouts for driver of the day so far. Having a look here as the Ferraris go onto the back straight. They're close once again, 8/10 separates them. 6/10 now. Leclerc is closing pretty quickly, but it will not be enough to try to get the move done into turn into the final corner. The gap out ahead now is 6.8 seconds. Russell is slowly reeling him in. But as I say that, Kimi Antonelli has posted the fastest lap of the race, a 1:35.526. That's a rather handy lap time from the Italian driver. I believe, unless I'm going crazy, he will be the first Italian driver since Giancarlo Fisichella. So that will be rather exciting as we see some moves happening further down the order for position. I'm going to look, Leclerc's 0.5 seconds off. Will he go for it in turn 6? Not quite. Yes, as everything's calmed down. Doesn't look, I haven't seen any more warnings of rain, so I think we'll be fine. Hamilton is at 9 seconds off George Russell now, in case you are curious. And the Ferraris, sorry, also now have a pit window. I just think here's some top speed stats. Gasly 354, Perez 351, Sainz 350. That's not bad. That we could see some pretty mad speeds. And we are seeing Ferrari individuals looking, Ferrari pit crew looking at some tires. I would imagine this is because of the fact that they nearly have a pit window to Behrman. As Leclerc is now closing for the move on Hamilton. Hamilton doesn't defend it too hard, but they are side by side into the hairpin. Hamilton prioritizes the exit, and he gets that exit he wants, but it's not quite good enough to pull it alongside Charles Leclerc. They're very close through the final corner. Kimi Antonelli again posts the fastest lap of the race, 1:39.494. Hamilton down the main straight. He's closing on Leclerc massively. Leclerc moves across to defend a little bit. Leclerc's run wide. Hamilton's moving up the inside. They're wheel to wheel. Can we keep it nice and clean, boys? Yes, we can. Lewis Hamilton slides his way back up to P3, but Leclerc's trying to come back at him through turn 3. This is very tight. Is Charles Leclerc have enough battery to try to get a move done through to turn 6? into braking. He's alongside into turn 6 on the outside, though. He tries to go for the switchback, but Hamilton knows what he's doing. He's wise of it. And he manages to hang on to P3, Lewis Hamilton. Looking further down the order. Oh, he's looking for a move on his old teammate Liam Lawson to try to finish P8 and make sure that he outscores his old team Racing Bulls. A mighty shame if he didn't manage that one, so he'll be hoping to. We are now 16 laps from the end of the race, with the Ferraris now 12 seconds behind the Mercedes cars. I must say, a bit of you does wonder, could they have kept George behind if the Ferraris hadn't fought so hard? Possibly, but I think it was a bit inevitable. As we see into the braking there for the hairpin, they keep it line and stern. Leclerc now 0.8 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. Goodness me, it's getting a bit late. Getting a bit hungry. Because for those who's, yes, I am skipping out on dinner for this, so you guys better enjoy this commentary. One gap I am monitoring as Leclerc also closes up a fair bit down the main straight, doesn't quite get the move done, is the gap between Verstappen and Behrman to see if Behrman can hang on to what will be a very strong P5 and will put Behrman ahead of Verstappen in the championship so far. It's a very, very important fight to keep your eyes peeled on, including the one between Hadjar and Lawson, as Hadjar tries to also score his first points of the season, of course, having a very unfortunate DNF in Australia due to a mechanical issue. When is the engine rule getting into effect for the Mercedes engines? Mercedes will be impacted on, it is the 1st of June. To the 1st of June. So it could be a lot worse. It was going to be August. So we get half the season, I'm fairly certain. That is, Charles Leclerc has just come over the radio and said that is actually quite a fun battle. He's, I would assume, the one he's referring to with Lewis Hamilton. And he's now 0.9 seconds behind that teammate who he was having a battle with. As Kimi Antonelli again sets another fastest lap of the race, a 1:35.343, 6.8 seconds road from his teammate. I'm going to be honest, Andrea Kimi Antonelli has done everything he's had to and more. He's nailed the race start as much as the Mercedes can. He's fought back against Lewis Hamilton. He's got the position back. I don't remember on what lap it was. Yeah, really, it's all working out for Kimi Antonelli. So if he does take this race win, it was completely deserved, and there's no doubt about it. I was a bit concerned that, oh yeah, Russell's like the only reason he didn't take pole is because of the fact that he had that battery issue. But now I'm like, yeah, no, he's earned that. He's earned this. As Colapinto gets past Lindblad for P11. So Colapinto has now nearly fought his way back into the points. He's 7.3 seconds off Carlos Sainz. So he will be hoping to make that up. As Hamilton's now 1.5 seconds down the road from his teammate, 1.7 now, being encouraged by his race engineer, being told try to hang on to that gap so they don't have to fight every single lap. Yes, I would imagine. You see, the thing is, they won't close the gap if they pit for softs. The only thing is that if they do, I don't know. I think there's not really a strategy Ferrari can play now that will pressure Mercedes into making a mistake. Really their only option is just to not hit, try to hold on to track position, and see if they can't work something out from there. Yes, Carlos. Radio from Antonelli, complaining about the traffic, despite the fact that, ironically, he's actually gaining time compared to his teammate. He's now opened the gap from 6.8 to 7.4 seconds ahead to the traffic. He's just caught the rear of Nico Hulkenberg, who's fighting Esteban Ocon for P13. Of course, will then try to get further up the road to try to possibly squeeze his way into the points. I do fear he's being shown the blue flags and will have to postpone this fight with Esteban Ocon for a bit. Of course, he is currently ahead of Esteban Ocon with that penalty, but yes, I would imagine, yes, Hulkenberg slowing down to let Antonelli pass, and Ocon will have to do the same soon. But of course, Ocon with a 10-second time penalty for collision with Colapinto, who is charging his way towards Carlos Sainz. Looking at the gap between the rows, 1.6 seconds now. Arvid Lindblad is pitting. So Arvid Lindblad into the pits for a set of medium tyres, who I would imagine go to the end of the race on. That will drop Lindblad, who he always close with the Cadillacs on exit, or Perez could try to sneak a move on him if he's wise about it. I don't think so, no. Lindblad has managed to come in. P15. As now Hulkenberg gets back to work and gets the move done on Esteban Ocon to move up to a P12. He was technically already in, but now, of course, his job to go try to hunt down some points better. However, he's 14.4 seconds off Franco Colapinto, who's then 6 seconds off the closest points paying position. So it would be a bit of a miracle, to put it kindly, if Hulkenberg managed to fight his way through the field. But I wouldn't put it past him. Having a look at 7.2 seconds now, the gap out front. Really, Kimi just needs to drive this one home, and he will have taken his first ever Grand Prix victory. I wish I'd bet on that. I really should have. I hesitated. I saw it. I thought, oh, but if something goes wrong, I don't want to be that guy. And then nothing's gone wrong. So now, yeah, hasn't really worked out. Having a look at some gaps. Hamilton is definitely pulling a gap on Leclerc now. Looks like Hamilton should be able to. Oh, hang on a second. Gasly will apparently catch Verstappen in 5 laps. That will be an interesting fight as Gasly tries to finish P6, which would be a massive result for him and Alpine, which would bump his total point score up to 9 points. He's currently on, he's currently on 1 point, and will be scoring 6 points where he is. But if he gets past Verstappen, that will be 8 points in P6. So that could be an interesting fight to watch as we reach the closing stages of this Grand Prix, which, yes, they've calmed down. However, once again, this Grand Prix is giving me hope that Grand Prix are going to stay entertaining. I don't think they're going to become boring anytime soon. It could be, or to put it kindly, it could be a lot worse. I definitely think it could be a lot worse. As we're looking now, Antonelli has a pit stop gap to Lewis Hamilton. So if there were a safety car, Antonelli and Russell would pit. I have full confidence. Hell, if they were concerned about something, they would pit at this stage. So yes, one of the Mercedes. Oh, Gasly's just gotten a move on Verstappen. Something just gone wrong for Verstappen. What's happening? We were meant to do it in 5 laps. Gasly's up to P6, Verstappen P7. What's happened? Why aren't we seeing what's happening? Is Verstappen going slow? Hang on. Verstappen's going slow. He's retiring the car. Max Verstappen is out of the Grand Prix. That's massive. Max Verstappen, he's going to have to pull over. He's not going to make it to the pit lane. Oh no. I think he's currently on the straight from turn 10 to turn 11. It'll be hard, but he could make it. So Gasly is up to P6, Lawson P7, Hadjar P8, Sainz P9, and it'll be Franco Colapinto up into P10. Just monitoring the situation with Max Verstappen. This is painful to watch. He's slowly sneaking his way around. It doesn't look like it's a pull over immediately issue. Hadjar's closing on Lawson. Hadjar's now within a second. He's making sure to stay off the racing line so that when Carlos Sainz arrives on him, he can sneak his way past nice and neatly. Colapinto is now in the points. Alpine double points. This is massive for Alpine, who could genuinely be fighting for P5 or P4 in this championship. Oh, they could, if McLaren keep not starting with the starting races, it could be even more, as we see now Kimi Antonelli lapping Max Verstappen in P11. Verstappen slowly sneaking his way around. He's not going slow enough to cause a yellow flag, so there's no issues so far. But that will be Max Verstappen out of this Grand Prix, just listening to his engine as the approach turns thick, went down the gears, and yeah, he just didn't pick back up. And yeah, it looks to be an electrical issue for his Ford Red Bull powertrain engine as Kimi Antonelli again sets the fastest lap of the race. A 1:35.282, 8.6 seconds up from George Russell. Kimi, you've got it in the bag. 10 laps left. You don't have to push this hard, Kimi. Oh my goodness. This is insane stuff. Yes, that's a near confirmed P5 for Oliver Behrman, P6 for Pierre Gasly. Gasly is closing on Behrman marginally, of course, as he was on Verstappen. So Behrman might have to be wise to Gasly approaching the end of this Grand Prix. As we're looking here, the gap between Hamilton and Leclerc is 3.1 seconds. Adjar is within a second of Lawson. He's going to try to get that move done as soon as possible. We see Max Verstappen getting out of the car. That is our 7th retirement of this Grand Prix. The tragedy for him. Looking further down the order, Carlos Sainz scoring his first points. Franco Colapinto scoring his first points. And closing on Sainz to try to score 2 points rather than 1, which would be a massive for Franco Colapinto. Of course, was running P2 at one point this race. What's up with Max? Electrics died from the looks of things. That is my educated conclusion. I don't know if that is for sure. I've just hit a bit of a lag spike. Hopefully I'm all right. I think we're all right. Oh, now my stream's lagging. That's splendid. Just looking here as Hamilton is lapping a couple more. Ocon's in the pits. Ocon has pitted. That shuffles Lindblad up to 12. And, oh, goodness me, I'm lagging really bad. I wouldn't be surprised if that could possibly be to retire the car, because, of course, it does have some pretty serious damage. So they're sitting in the pit box. They're serving the penalty. Of course, a 10-second time penalty got the collision with Franco Colapinto. Just looking here. Wow. Lap 47, Hamilton and Leclerc managed to set identical lap times, both 36.204s, which that's rather impressive. Ocon is headed back out. Of course, he's now in dead last in P15. Now look, this will also be Cadillac's best finish, P13, P14. Colapinto's still closing out. Okay, Gasly's dropped a bit of time to Behrman. Behrman should be safe. Adjar's dropped a bit of time to Lawson. Lawson might be safe in P7. Antonelli, a purple middle sector again. He's down 9.3 seconds up on his teammate. Kimi, you don't have to do this. We get it. You're fast. You've earned this Grand Prix win. No one is doubting this anymore. As we're now just seeing Ollie Behrman comfortably circulating. Started P10, now P5. Really, what a drive from the British driver. You can't ask for anything more. He's just on it. He's just absolutely on it. Anthony going crazy. Anthony is going crazy. It's a bit scary, honestly. So I'm behind the live feed again. There we go. Back to where we are. The gap from Behrman to Gasly is 3.6 seconds, and the gap from Leclerc to Behrman is 23.9 seconds. So definitely a chasm still between Haas and Alpine and the Ferraris. But I'd say, I mean, I don't know. They were comfortably ahead. Or Red Bull are not a fast team anymore. I'm going to be honest. I'm very sorry for all the Max and Isaac fans. I mean, hey, I like Isaac, but they aren't fast anymore. That's just how it is. Just watching Kimi Antonelli as he flies down the back straight. Once again, 9.3 seconds up on his teammate who he started on the front row with. Really just clinical driving from a driver who really last year we were concerned about all the mistakes he was making and whether he'd have the consistency to try to take this championship fight to George Russell and keep George honest. We now see him doing just that as he's now 9.5 seconds up the road from his teammate. Really, it's the stuff of dreams for Kimi Antonelli. It's gone pretty much perfectly. You now see that he's closing in on Colapinto and Sainz to lap, as Colapinto is now rather close to the rear of Carlos Sainz for P9. We could see him making a move. Dare I say that Carlos Sainz should be able to hang on to P9 with Hulkenberg. Not on the best strategy, dare I say. 13.5 seconds off Colapinto. So this should be Williams scoring points. This will be Colapinto scoring his first points. Hadjar scoring his first points. Lawson, Gasly, Behrman are strong P5, P6, P7, and Tonelli, of course, the most points he's ever scored in a Grand Prix. His highest Grand Prix finish of P1 so far. He now ushers Franco Colapinto out of the way, who's had to slow down a fair bit. Hopefully, Carlos Sainz will lose a similar amount of time because otherwise he's going to be rather compromised. George saying his rears are gone. That doesn't seem to be bothering Kimi Antonelli. So Antonelli, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Behrman, Gasly, all on 39 lap old hard tyres. Lawson's are 40 laps, Hadjar 39, Sainz 39 lap old hards. So they are clearly struggling out there. Russell's clearly struggling on those tyres more than Antonelli's because Antonelli, he's just coasting along. He doesn't even seem concerned about anything. Really, it's been a very mature drive from Antonelli. He of course had to fight with Hamilton early on, but he then worked his way through through Hamilton and is now comfortably sat out there just lapping traffic. Next on his list will be Carlos Sainz to lap, as we see Gasly now lapping one of the Cadillacs. I think that was Sergio Perez. Driver of the day vote ends in 4 laps. Get to it. I don't want to cause any bias, but personally, I'll give you the percentages. 22% Kimi Antonelli, 19% Lewis Hamilton, 10% Franco Colapinto. I must say, feel a bit bad for Ollie Behrman not even making top 3 there. Lawson's up 7 places. Sainz is up 8. Perez is up 7. Behrman's up 5. Bottas is up 6. So I feel a bit bad for some of those guys a bit further down the order who have made some nice moves. But I can't, you won't catch me complaining about Andrea Kimi Antonelli taking driver of the day after what has been a clinical drive. 5 laps to go. We're on lap 51. The gap is 9 seconds. Look where the closest fights on field are. It's really Colapinto and Sainz. 1.2 seconds separates them so far. Colapinto will be looking to try to get as many points as he can for Alpine. Those little points are going to matter a lot when it comes to the end of the season. He's 1 second off currently. Because he has the pace advantage on the fresh and medium tyres, and dare I say the Alpine is faster than the Williams. Carlos had a crazy drive for real, 100%. Carlos is kind of the unsung hero of this race. He was out in Q1 and he's currently P9. That takes some good strategy and some good driving. And considering how inconsistently it appears Williams may be scoring points, any amount of points, whether it be 2 points or 1 point, will be massive for him. Dare I say, Kimi Antonelli probably won't have to deal with too much more lap traffic as, oh my God, he's done a purple middle sector again. Kimi Antonelli, 28.532 through the middle sector. Kimi, you can stop now. We get it. You're fast. You're really, really, really fast through that middle sector. An on board from Charles Leclerc. Oh, nasty lock up into the hairpin for Charles Leclerc. It's a very, very worn hard compound tyres who definitely aren't playing nice anymore for the Ferrari driver. You see he's going to be 3.8 seconds off his teammate, Lewis Hamilton. It's funny, despite the fact that the gap is smaller than it was in... Well, despite the fact that the gap between Mercedes and Ferrari currently in this race is larger than it was in Australia. I've been so entertained by this race, mostly because the fighting for the lead and the podium went beyond lap 1. 9.3 seconds had the gap out ahead. Lap 53, the Franco Colapinto trying to hunt down Carlos Sainz for P2. Gasly's closed up a fair bit to Behrman. The gap's 2.5 seconds now. I reckon Behrman will probably be able to defend that one, but it's a bit touch and go for him. Of course, Behrman and Gasly likely in a heated midfield fight, ironically now including Max Verstappen. I'm fairly certain. I'm going to get the championship standings up because I don't want to stuff this up. I'm just keeping it. Oh, actually, it's up 10 seconds down the road. Goodness me. Okay, so of course. Oh, yellow flag. Oh, Antonelli's had a moment in the hairpin. Oh, keepers, Kimmy, you're stressing us out. Kimmy, calm down. He's still going. Don't panic too much. But the gap has now dropped substantially to 7.6 seconds. 3 laps to go. Keep it all nice and calm. So we're going to replay of what happened to Antonelli. Approaching the hairpin. Oh, his front left locks up. Oh, he just runs. He just runs deep. Okay. Not a massive loss. Kimi Antonelli will be fine. 7.3 seconds is the gap. That tyre will definitely be hurting a bit, but he should be all right. Having a look. Colapinto's close. Antonelli coming over the radio, being told 3 laps remaining. So let's just get this thing home. Sainz having to check his mirrors. But yes, so if Behrman scores 10 points, Ollie Behrman will be on 16 points in the championship, which will jump him up to P5 in the championship ahead of both McLaren. That's mental. Ollie Behrman is like, if it finishes as it is, Ollie Behrman will be P5 in the championship. Unironically. That's exciting. Glad he's on my yes. Glad Ollie Behrman is on my fantasy league team. Because dare I say the rest of my fantasy league team, Piastri, Bortoletto, Hulkenberg, Hadjar, aren't going to be scoring me quite the points I was hoping for. Antonelli crosses the line to start the penultimate lap of what has been a brilliant race for him. 2 laps to go. Get those votes in. I better see Kimi Antonelli at the top. As Franco Colapinto again, he's closing in on Carlos. He's really trying. A brilliant race from Franco Colapinto, managing to work his way back into the points off the first time since Austin 2024 is the last time he scored points. But really, we can't talk about brilliant drives without talking about Carlos Sainz's drive. P17 to P9. Clinical stuff. If he does hold on, that'll make it even better because by all reason, Colapinto should be ahead of him. As we watch Antonelli round turn 10 towards 11 and 12 and then 13. Colapinto still hunting him down. And how about this? Lewis Hamilton shall improve his record of the most podiums ever to 203 as he crosses the line for this Grand Prix, which is a magical thing. Colapinto fighting his way through the low-speed corners. Really fighting to try to get up there. As the final lap of the Grand Prix is underway, Andrea Kimi Antonelli shall lead it. He's led nearly the whole Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton led some laps there at the early stages. But Kimi Antonelli fought it back, and he's earned this one. He's 7 seconds down the road from his teammate. It would have been 10 if it weren't for that lockup. So we know he's been clinical. He's also got the fastest lap of the race. Think about that. Kimi Antonelli, pole position, fastest lap of the race, nearly led every lap. And now all he has to do is bring it home. You can see his father, Marco Antonelli, who brought him up through the ranks on the edge of his seat in the Mercedes garage. Everything he could have dreamed of and more is happening to his boy. Antonelli rounding the high-speed middle sector corners as he approaches turn 10. It's all under control. No need for a purple middle sector this time, Kimi. Just turn 11. He's done everything he could have imagined. As you look at Colapinto, 0.5 seconds off signs. He's still fighting for it, but he'll have to get it done down the back straight if he's going to do it anywhere. Antonelli approaching that back straight for the final time. He speeds down, deploys anything he has left. There's no point saving it because there's no more laps to do for Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who's going to take a debut Grand Prix win in fashion. No one should doubt this man. He's taking it to George Russell. He's taking it to the title. Antonelli, through the final corner, will become the second youngest Grand Prix winner. Andrea Kimi Antonelli wins the Chinese Grand Prix. 6.1 seconds down the road. What a drive. George Russell will follow him home to take a P2 to hold on to his lead in the championship. It's emotional stuff in the Mercedes garage. Lewis Hamilton, how about him? He hasn't gotten a podium since Las Vegas last year. Carlos Sainz has managed to hang on in P9. Colapinto P10. Lewis Hamilton P3. Back onto the podium. Welcome back, King. Charles Leclerc P4. And how about this? An Ollie Behrman P5 finish. All he has to do is bring it home. Sainz scoring points for the first scoring points for Williams this year. Franco Colapinto P10 scoring his first points in over a year. Antonelli, you can see he's beside himself in the car. What a Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. Hulkenberg P11, Lindblad P12 confirmed. Lapped cars, Ollie Behrman will be across the line soon for what was a brilliant drive. Behrman P5, Gasly P6. Liam Lawson will be next across the line, holding on to a brilliant P7, outscoring both Red Bulls. Antonelli is emotional in the cockpit. He's done absolutely everything. You cannot doubt this man. He is a championship contender. Wow, really. That's just insane stuff. Started first, finished first, driver of the day, fastest lap. By, I don't know how much. I didn't see how fast George's best lap was. That'll be Lawson P7, Hadjar P8 scoring his first points, and of course Carlos P9 and Colapinto P10 to round out the points. Wow. As we see Antonelli waving to the fans. He's so excited. George Russell, of course, a strong P2, will hold on to his championship lead by finishing on the podium. George Russell coming over the radio. He congratulates Antonelli on what was a dominant race win. It was never really in doubt. He fought off the early charges of Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, of course, with a strong P3 in to make it even further up the championship. That will score him 18 points, which means he'll have 36 points in the championship now, which keeps them still just barely in touching distance of the Mercedes. However, hopefully they'll have some more pace in Japan. Lewis he's so excited over the radio. He loves it here. He's won here 6 times, and now he makes it his 203rd podium. Not quite a grand slam for Kimi Antonelli. He needs to have led every lap, but he will pull up to the P1 slot. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, a Grand Prix winner. I believe, if I'm not forgetting, the 116th Grand Prix winner. Ollie Behrman, what a drive from him. P10 to P5, showing that Haas means business. Moving to P5 in the championship whilst he's at it, ahead of last year's champion and Max Verstappen. Antonelli about to get out of the car. You can see how much it means to him. It means the world. Let's see his reaction as he jumps out of the car. He puts the steering wheel back in and he gives a big old cheer to the crowd. What a drive. Antonelli, your race winner. You can see it's exhausted him a bit. He looks a bit physically tired. He's running over to the team. They embrace him in open arms. What a drive. Just remember, keep it friendly and keep it friendly in the chat. We don't need to be too aggressive. He runs over to everyone on the pit wall. He's surfing on them. They're all patting him. They're all ecstatic for him. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, your race winner. He embraces his father. They're so excited. So much money put in by families to try to get drivers up into the top of Formula One, and it's all paid off for the Antonelli family. I could never comprehend how much this would mean to them. Of course, his seat back on the top step of the podium for the first time since Belgium 2024, where Lewis Hamilton won in it. As Russell comes up to him, massive congratulations for him. Toto's over the moon for his drivers, P1, P2 again, a front row lockout, and race win 1-2. Really, I couldn't ask for much more. We got good racing. We got a fun result that genuinely means the world. You can see how happy Lewis is, embraces with his mother. He's back on the podium, back to the trophy cabinet. This one will go amongst his 202 other trophies that he has achieved now. Wow. Really, I'm so happy I commentated this race. It's a pleasure to have commentated this for all of you too. Kimi and Lewis, big embrace. A heartfelt moment between Bono, Lewis, and Kimi there. Of course, three drivers who are very close to each other, or drivers and race engineers who are all very close to each other. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up there for my commentary. My voice is dead, to put it kindly, commentating the sprint race, qualifying, and the Grand Prix. And I need to go eat myself some dinner because it's 7:45 p.m. It's been a pleasure, everyone. Hopefully, I'll see you for some of Japan in 2 weeks' time. And then we've got a bit of time before I'll be back because, of course, Grand Prix then end up all being at about 11 p.m. So, excited to see you all for probably Azerbaijan will probably be the next time you hear from me beyond Japan. So, enjoy me whilst you got me in Japan. It's been a pleasure, everyone. Enjoy the Grand Prix result.
Thank you, Evan. Yeah, it was a great race to watch. A lot of action, a lot of overtakes. We only missed that battle for the win until the end, but we can't have it all. So I'm just jumping in because I think I might have got a bingo on the F1 bingo. So just let's go through that quickly. I don't think it's updated, but you can help me go through it. So these are my 9 bingo cards. So first is 4 or more cars retire. I think that got checked. Then Williams, Aston, or Cadillac score points. This was a long shot, but Sainz got it. P9, so I got this card right. Bottas finishing ahead of Perez. That one is checked too. Then we have Ferrari podium. 1 point there too. Full safety car deployed. I got that one too. Kimi Antonelli gets his first win. That is a good F1 bingo card too. And we see Kimi crying. Yeah, he's so happy. Then we have Alpine scoring points. They scored double points. There's the 7th card. A driver gets a penalty of 5 seconds or more. Ocon got that for us. So that is 8 out of 9 cards. And the last one is a team gains a position through the undercut in the pit stops. I don't know if this happened, but if that happened, then I'm pretty sure I have 9 out of 9 cards. So we will have to wait for the race team to update everything. But yeah, Yeah, I'm just flexing. So let's see. Let's see what is your F1 bingo cards. Let me know in chat how much did you get correctly. It's not yet updated, but it will be updated soon. But you can go through them, and I'm pretty sure you'll have to beat me this race. See if maybe I can find some of yours, guys. Yeah, I think you'll have to open it for yourself and just let us know in chat how many you got right. She's saying I got 7 or 8 picks. Okay, that is great. If those are with high points, I mean you're pretty much up there. Last race, people with 21, 22 points were on the podium. So we will see. Says I'm at 21, 24 points. Okay, that is, well, you might be beating me actually. But if you got a bingo with all 9 cards correctly, you get plus 50%. Looking at the interviews, congratulating Kim. Against them. David Coulthard. I didn't notice that. Seems happy. He says that they probably touched with Leclerc. I didn't notice that in the race, but he says that they touch very, yeah, almost unnoticeable. But that was a great battle with the Ferraris. I mean, I think they need to discuss that, because at some point it's a long season. If they fight like this every race, I think they might, yeah, they might do more damage to the team with this racing. But we love seeing it. See what Kimi has to say. He says this year is Mercedes 100%. We will see. Long season. I think, well, they have some changes from June, and until June, maybe Mercedes is going to be dominating. And maybe it's a bad news for them if Bahrain and Saudi Arabia don't happen, because they would probably be dominating there too. But we will see. Kimi is also in the mix. Even if Mercedes dominating, I'm all into watching Kimi versus Russell until the last race. Yeah, I don't know, did any team get a position via undercut, because I had that card too. So I'm trying to, I guess if it hasn't been updated yet, that's a no, but we'll have to wait and see if the team confirms. The next race is Japan, and we have 1 week off. one weekend off, and then we are back on Friday with FP1. All right, I think we can bring the stream down. Now you're gonna be taken to the Japan race stream. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and also like the Japan stream because that really helps us out. Thank you everyone for watching with us.